Good evening, everyone. It's 6:01 p.m. We're going to go right into the public hearing. So if everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. One nation. Thank you. Ms. Lawrence, will you do the roll call?
Mr. Bellis? Mr. Kozlik?
Here.
Me? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Bellis, can you repeat that, please?
I am here.
Thank you. Mr. Haas?
Here.
Ms. Krishnowski? Mr. Lombardo?
Here.
Ms. McDermott? Here. Ms. Simmons?
Here.
Ms. Smith? Ms. Stevenson? Ms. Williams?
Here.
Mr. Sabatino?
Here.
Ms. Smith? I have 10 of them.
Now we'll go to public comment on the proposed ordinance only. Are there any audience members who'd like to make a public comment on the proposed ordinance? Seeing none, anybody on the Zoom? No. Seeing that there are no public comments, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
No, we have.
The grant, the ordinance to move the fourth grant. Okay. Sorry. Annie V, you have your hand up?
Yes, and I'm sorry, because I'm calling in, I'm a little unclear. What am I able to make comment on right now?
So the only thing you're able to make a comment on right now is the proposed ordinance amending the 2025 fiscal year budget for Luzerne County Human Services Grant.
Got it. That is not what I'm here to comment on. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? This meeting is adjourned. We will reconvene in 2 minutes for the voting session.
I bet this would be good with kimchi.
Huh?
Bet this would be good with kimchi. Oh, okay. Here, I guess.
What are you waiting for?
Annie, could you mute, please?
No more? Yeah, more.
It is 6:05 p.m. I will call the voting session to order. We already had the Pledge of Allegiance in the moment of silence. Ms. Lawrence, will you do the roll call, please?
Mr. Bellis?
Here.
Mr. Kozlik?
Here.
Mr. Haas?
Here.
Krishnowski? Mr. Lombardo?
Here.
Ms. McDermott?
Here.
Ms. Simmons?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
Ms. Stevenson?
Here.
Ms. Williams?
Here.
Mr. Sabatino?
Here.
11:11.
We have some ceremonial proclamations. Mr. Coslet, would you like to read the one for Chief Coffee?
Yes. Whereas Chief Joseph Coffey has dedicated an impressive 38 years to law enforcement with a remarkable 34 years serving in the Wilkes-Barre City Police Department. And whereas throughout his distinguished career, Chief Coffey has exemplified unwavering commitment to public safety, professionalism, and community service. And whereas he has risen through the ranks of the Wilkes-Barre City Police Department, culminating in his recent role as Chief of Police, where he has demonstrated exceptional leadership and vision. And whereas Chief Coffey has completed extensive specialized training and held critical assignments in drug law enforcement, showcasing his expertise as both sergeant and narcotics detective in charge of Pennsylvania's Drug Task Force. And whereas his dedication to combating drug-related crime continued as a federal task force officer with the Drug Enforcement Administration, serving in Philadelphia Field Office and Scranton Resident Office for 12 years. And whereas upon his return to the Wilkes-Barre Police Department, he took on the role of Captain of Investigations, effectively supervising the Investigations Division, Narcotics Unit, and Emergency Services Unit, thereby enhancing the department's operational effectiveness. And whereas Chief Coffey's contributions to law enforcement have not only strengthened the Wilkes-Barre Police Department, but has also positively impacted the lives of countless residents in our community. And whereas it is fitting that we recognize Chief Joseph Coffey for his years of dedicated service, leadership, and commitment to enhancing the safety and well-being of the citizens of Luzerne County. Now, therefore, we, the Luzerne County Council and citizens of Luzerne County, do hereby honor Chief Joseph Coffey for his exemplary career in law enforcement, leadership as Chief of Police, and his unwavering dedication to the community. We extend our deepest gratitude for his service and wish him continued success in all of his future endeavors.
Thank you, Councilman Costa.
Chairman Sabatino,
County Manager?
may I make a statement?
Sure.
Throughout his distinguished career, Chief Coffey, he has exemplified what it means to serve with integrity, courage, and commitment. Whenever we called, Chief Coffey was there. He's not only led with bravery in the face of challenges, but he has also inspired countless individuals to uphold the values of service and sacrifice. As he embarks on his new adventures, I wish him continued success and fulfillment. May he always be surrounded by safety, knowing that his legacy of protection and service will be cherished by all who have touched by his work. Thank you, Chief Coffey, for your unwavering dedication. Stay safe out there.
Thank you, County Manager. Our next one is the Food Dignity Project, Ms. Williams.
Whereas Food Dignity has demonstrated unwavering commitment to the well-being of our community through its tireless efforts in alleviating hunger and supporting local agriculture. And whereas during the December All Luzerne County Food Drive, organized by Councilwoman Brittany Stevenson and Division Head Megan Stone, Food Dignity played a pivotal role in providing essential resources to those in need. And whereas this initiative successfully fed 1,822 individuals, showcasing the profound impact of collective community action. And whereas Food Dignity contributed significantly to this cause, including the provision of 1,200 half gallons of milk from Blue Ribbon, 300 half gallons of milk from Burgers Farm, and 200 dozen eggs from Burgers Farm. And whereas Food Dignity further supported our local farmers by distributing 700 dozen eggs from its own resources, 50 dozen eggs from Rollins, 700 heads of lettuce from Rollins, and 1,250 bags of produce, including onions, carrots, sweet potatoes, and apples from local farms. And whereas Food Dignity's dedication extends beyond this event, as they consistently work throughout the year to uplift our residents and bolster local farmers. Now, therefore, we, the Luzerne County Council, does hereby honor Food Dignity for its invaluable contributions to our community, and we express our deepest gratitude for their commitment to food security and sustainability.
We do have a representative from Food Dignity. Please come up. If you'd like to say a few words, you can at the podium now.
Hi guys. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I'm sorry. My name is Soraya Jones. I'm 17 years old and I go to school at Pittston Area High School. And I also attend Wilkes-Barre Area Technical School, which is giving me the opportunity to be a part of Food Dignity. And it has made a drastic change in not only my life, but other people's lives as well. And that included as giving food out to our community and having a stronger bond with all of my peers and everybody around me, and just having another way to give back to the community. And I just want to say thank you guys for the recognition of that. And I want to say thank you to Amanda for giving that opportunity. Sorry about that, guys. Have a
You
good
were
day,
great.
guys.
Just wanted to recognize all of the students at the Wilkes-Barre Area CTC Warehousing Department who helped us package all of this wonderful local produce for the distribution event. And these are our two management students in the warehousing track, Soraya Jones and Kobe Xares. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Kobe Cazares. I'm 17 years old and I go to Wilkes-Barre Area High School. And I just want to let you guys know how grateful I am for just getting this opportunity and helping my community out, and also just, just expanding the community even more. I mean, food connects all of us some way or another. And I hope we could still be a part of it in the future. And thank you so much for everything that
Food Dignity and students, I just want to thank you so much for your participation in this event. Without you, this wouldn't have come to life the way that it did. And I'm truly grateful that all of you were able to participate. This is the change that we want to see. These are the actions that we want to see taking place in our community. So thank you so much for being committed and dedicated, and a very special shout out to Clancy Harrison, who is also running Food Dignity, and Megan Stone. You guys are pivotal members in this community, and I'm truly grateful to be working alongside each of you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Stevenson. There is one more ceremonial proclamation, and I will read it. It is for Fork Over Love. Whereas Luzerne County is proud to recognize the profound impact of community initiatives that support our residents in times of need. And whereas the December 2025 countywide food drive, organized by County Councilwoman Stevenson and County Division Head Megan Stone, included community partner Fork Over Love, successfully served 1,822 individuals, demonstrating the power of collaboration and compassion within our community. Whereas through this food drive, 1,250 hot meals have been provided to families in need, ensuring that no one goes hungry during the holiday season. And whereas Fork Over Love has played a pivotal role in this initiative by partnering with local restaurants to deliver nutritious hot meals to those facing food insecurity. And whereas the efforts of Fork Over Love and its partners exemplify the spirit of giving and the importance of supporting one another in our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Luzerne County Council hereby honors and commends Fork Over Love for its dedication and commitment to serving our community, and encourages all residents to support such initiatives that foster unity and compassion. Now therefore, we, the Luzerne County Council, does hereby honor and commend Fork Over Love for its dedication and commitment to serving our community and encourages all residents to support such initiatives that foster unity and compassion. Is there someone here from Fork Over Love? Great, come on up and.
Hi, friends. I'm Tracy Salingo. I'm the founder and executive director at Fork Over Love. Thank you so much for this recognition. We work so hard to work with community partners to nourish our people and our places of business. And this event was absolutely miraculous. It came together in such a short time. And I think that's what happens when we're all aligned and we're all working for the common good. It was a joy to work with everyone on this and to be able to feed so many people at a critical time of the year and to be able to share so much compassion. I just want to add that I'm so grateful for all of the volunteers who were there with us on a Saturday before Christmas when, you know, nothing else is going on, right? There were well over 50 volunteers in the 5 locations. Not to mention all of the work that went on behind the scenes. Clancy, the Food Dignity Project, what you did was amazing. So thank you all. Thanks for including us and thank you for this recognition.
Thank you.
I'd like to say last year, I was not able to attend the ARPA visit that went to Fork Over Love in Edwardsville. It wasn't until this past fall that I was able to meet Tracy and Fork Over Love and some of their amazing volunteers as well, and that they were pivotal to how this organization was taking place to be able to deliver in 5 different locations across the county. Tracy, thank you so much, and I look forward to your work in the future.
I also want to recognize the council members that went out to help out with this event. So we really do appreciate council members showing the community that we care about them. So thank you all for going out.
Chairman,
Manager,
no, may I make a statement?
of course.
In a world where people often feel short, the work of two remarkable women, Tracy and shines brightly. Their commitment goes far beyond merely feeding the hungry. They ignite hope and restore dignity in those who have lost their way. Every meal that they provide is not just nourishment for the body, but a lifeline for the spirit. They create a sense of community and belonging, reminding each individual that they are seen, valued, and cared for. Their selflessness and unwavering dedication inspire us all to contribute to a brighter future where kindness and generosity reign. Tracy, Clancy, thank you on behalf of Luzerne County for your tireless efforts and for being beacons of hope in our community. Your impact is immeasurable, and your legacy of compassion will resonate for generations to come. And you're my heroes. Thank you.
Thank you, Manager Crocomo. I have one quick note from IT. If everybody could mute their microphones when they're done, it will cut down on the reverb in the room and we will be able to hear the Zoom better. So please mute your microphones when we're done. All right, next up, any deletions from the voting session agenda?
I have one, Mr. Chair. I think number 4, I think for a point of order, I think it needs to be remanded first to the admin committee. It is the motion to introduce an ordinance amending the administrative code. So I think that would be the appropriate committee to start there. And then I think the proper format is to later on introduce it.
Okay.
So.
Is there a
reason.
second?
Second.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I request a roll call vote.
okay. Ms. Williams, Ms. Lawrence, will you do a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bellis,
No.
Mr. Kozlet,
No.
Mr. Hawes.
Yes.
Yanowski. Mr. Lombardo.
No.
McDermott,
Yes.
Simmons,
No.
Smith.
In a new administration, I think that it's important that we pay attention to the way that things are supposed to be done and the proper roles of each committee and the proper throughways that things need to get to us. So I'm going to say yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
No.
Ms. Williams,
No.
Sabatino,
No.
3 yes, 8 no, not get deleted.
Any other deletions from the agenda? Seeing none, is there a motion to adopt the voting session?
Motion. Second.
Okay. McDermott. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The agenda is adopted. Attorney Skeen, will you announce our executive session from yesterday?
That I will. Last evening, we met in executive session wherein we discussed a litigation matter that we are considering resolving that involves the Luzerne County Correctional Center. We discussed sale of a property, and we discussed the contract for AVP partnership agreement, which will be discussed, both of the last two will be discussed at the work session today. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Skeen. Now we'll go into public comment. I have Alyssa Fusara.
Alyssa Fusaro, Luzerne Borough. Thank you, County Council members, and welcome new council. Members, I came here today or tonight to voice my concerns with the new election ordinance. I feel strongly, as strongly as I did last time, that this will open the door to abuse of voters. For example, if on election day a voter has a problem with the ballot, they need to voice their concerns freely without fear of retribution or retaliation. We already have laws in place to combat the abuse of poll workers and or election day workers. I think that this ordinance does offer any additional protection, and if anything, it opens the door for the abuse of voters. Tensions run high for both voters and election workers on election day. And my place. Introducing this ordinance gives election workers the opportunity to abuse a voter that they may have a disagreement with. And I'm also concerned that this may impede on the voters' free speech, as they will be afraid to speak up when there's something wrong, either at the polling place or at the Bureau. In my opinion, this is a voter intimidation ordinance, and I urge you to vote no on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fusara. Next up, I have a slip for Rob Kalandowski.
I know.
Bob Kalabowski. I'm here on an issue in regards to, there's a company named Blue Cup. They're trying to put a warehouse in up on.
Sir, this is for agenda items only.
Oh, I thought you said public comment.
Yeah, for agenda items only.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem.
I only
We'll
have
have you
mi-
come back at the end.
Well, I'd love to talk then. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Geez, I was all ready to go.
Anyone else from the audience for public comment? Please go to the podium, state your name and municipality.
Good evening, council. Ben Herring, Duryea. Start my clock as well. So much to say, so little time. Welcome to the new council. Thank you for your service, Ms. Simmons. I'm also a veteran. Appreciate you. I'm going to talk about agenda item number 5 right now. And then, of course, I'll have comments later. So when this was proposed last year under a Republican majority, it was voted down, in my opinion, properly so. Because as Ms. Fusar already alluded to, it does nothing outside of the bounds of the law that's already there. And really what I'm more concerned about and more disturbed by even this being the first meeting of the new council, and this is the priority, is that the district attorney and the election bureau director both said this was not necessary. So are we going to listen to the professionals that we put in those positions? Or are we just going to do whatever we want to do because it aligns with an agenda? I hope for the sake of the voting tonight, it does not align with an agenda, but I think we're going to find that out soon. There has not been one supported claim, not one, 0, that has been substantiated, that has been a proven election worker issue in the last few elections. Not one. There's not one substantiated claim. So now you want to put this ordinance in that talks about 3 terms, and I work in a world where language is very, very important. Obstructing, hindering, and interfering. When I'm watching football downstairs and my wife comes down and says, hey, would you want to go do something? Is she obstructing my time watching football? If I'm an election worker, let's talk about the law, right? If I'm an election worker and I'm a voter and I have a question to that election worker, is by the mere fact of me asking them a question, hindering them? Is that what you all want? You're opening up a Pandora's box. And I don't think it's going to be legally sound anyway, but if you pass this ordinance and somebody does get arrested or they do get fined $1,000, you're probably going to get a lawsuit because I don't think it is within the bounds of the law by any means. 2 more quick things. For a county that fought tooth and nail for 2.5 years against Citizens Advisory of Pennsylvania for video footage, I find it pretty ironic now that you are all concerned about elections. When for 2.5 years, you guys spent 100,000 taxpayer dollars to fight a nonprofit from receiving video footage. I find that very ironic. I'll finish up with this. A Representative Cappellini today introduced a proposal for a law in the state of Pennsylvania that would ban ICE, our law enforcement officers, from using any statewide facility to conduct their operations. That is the future of where we're going. That's the road we're going down here. If we pass this ordinance, something's coming next. This is a pathway on the agenda. And I hope for the sake of integrity, if you don't want this thing, or if you do vote on it, tell us the real reason why. Excuse me. Not because there's election issues, because there's not one substantiated case.
Thank you, Mr. Herron. Anyone else from the audience? Mr. Grandfeed?
Joe Grantee, Plains Township. I just want to relay some of the history that I've had at this podium. 4 times, maybe 5, I urged the council to investigate Papergate problem. Took me 5 different times to do it. Were the last 4 intimidation or harassment? That's my question. Could I have been charged with harassment for asking that 4 times, 5 times? It happened in another incident in 2023, right? Where I had to push 5 times to get some kind of resolution to what I thought would fraud incident. But I had asked 4 or 5 times. So now that's 9 times I'm pushing something. Is that harassment? Legally, I don't know. But to your discretion, who knows? And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Grantee. Anyone else from the audience on agenda items only? Okay, seeing none, I have Mark with the hand up on Zoom.
Mr. Chairman, this is Mark Hazelton speaking.
Good evening, Mr. Abo. We can hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On agenda item number 5, with regards to the restructuring of the divisions to create this new infrastructure division, this is a violation of the home rule optional plans law, and also especially a violation and infringement on the ruling of the Supreme Court, Pilcheski versus Lackawanna County Commissioners, 2014, Rosado versus Slivko, Commonwealth Court case of 2014. Those cases upheld the home rule optional plan law in stating that any major significant structural changes to a home rule charter and a home rule government must go through a government study commission. No ifs, ands, or buts. So by just amending the administrative code to a division that's already, the divisions are already prescribed in the home rule charter. So therefore, by doing this, you're subverting the home rule charter, because you'd have to amend the charter to add on this new division. So, Mr. Chairman, I challenge you and the county manager to tell me and the people of Luzerne County how this new division does not constitute as a structural change, because you haven't even divulged a plan on how many employees you're going to have under this division, and also what the whole division entails and the purpose of it is. So, yeah, you gave a glib, generic overview, but that doesn't constitute as a specific purpose, as the other divisions are defined under the home rule charter. So I would equate this to a Fortune 500 company adding an entirely new division, or restructuring their current divisions without the shareholders having a vote on it. That would cause a shareholder revolt to remove the CEO. So, like I said, this is actually flies in the face of what home rule is supposed to be: transparency and giving the voters a full due process under the home rule optional plan law. So if you're about democracy, Mr. Chair and County Manager Crocomo, put it to the people for a vote. Put it on a ballot referendum. Okay? I'm not saying a study commission, but put it on the ballot. See what the people have to say. If you're all about democracy, I challenge you. Put it to a vote of the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rabo. Next up, we have Mr. Urban.
How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Urban, we can hear you.
All right, thank you. Stephen J. Urban, Kingston Borough. I want to speak about the proposed election ordinance that you're looking to put in place. I think you're going about the wrong way. First of all, under section 1, number 2, you spelled harassment wrong. There's an E in there that shouldn't be in there. I've always was a resident spell checker, but unless you're creating a new category called harassment. But under Title 18, Section 2709, that already covers harassment. I think the county's going down the wrong road, because if you look under the criminal code in Pennsylvania, I don't think you can actually set fines higher than what's already set in state law for certain infractions like harassment. Intimidation would probably fall under harassment for number 3. Doxing, there are no laws in Pennsylvania except for harassment. Stalking is actually under Title 18, 2709.1. And then if you're talking about maybe like election officials being improperly influenced, that's under Title 18, I think, subsection 4702. So the law is very clear already that there are, state laws that cover most of these items within this particular agenda item. I don't think you need to go down that road. Maybe you need to flip the tables and look and see why there's voter intimidation coming from probably the voter election bureau office, where people are denied the right to vote because they don't process ballot applications on time, or maybe they stuff a box in the corner and blame it on the U.S. Postal Service, is the reason that people aren't getting their ballots. And I'm sure that there's many cases out there where people were denied the right to vote, which to me is under Title 25, subsection 3547 under voter intimidation, where you're denying or refusing the person the right to vote. So if you want freedom and democracy, I think you need to start with the public being able to vote first and not worry about so much the election officials, because they are being paid by the taxpayer and the residents of Luzerne County. They have a responsibility to answer to the public. And I think you're going and traveling down the wrong road, trying to penalize any public member that will question their government here. You have no protections in here for anybody that might be charged. I don't know how you're going to get the offenses approved above and beyond what state law already sets as far as certain fines. I think this is very premature. I think you need to take it off the table and go back and look at this very closely and see what you can do legally from a criminal perspective.
Thank you, Mr. Urban. Next up, we have Annie V.
Hi, yes. Sorry for the mute gate earlier. I apologize. I'd just like to make a first comment and commend those who are doing so much good in our community. It was really nice to hear just the cross involvement, kind of interagency, and what Ms. Stevenson has helped head up with some of the local farms. And that's just wonderful to hear, and wonderful to hear the young people of our area are also benefiting and contributing so much. I can't wait to see more of that in our community. And I'd just like to quickly speak to agenda item 4 and 5, not to belabor the points here, but I think it's very important to understand that at this time, with so many things facing our community, sorry for the background noise, it's my kiddo, that I think something as serious as amending article, the article with the home rule charter, and creating an additional division, this is going to create undue bureaucratic stress on the taxpayers. This means creation of a whole series of new positions and jobs. And frankly, I don't think that's what's going to benefit this county at this time. We have divisions. Perhaps we need to work on cleaning those up, streamlining them, making them more efficient before we talk about adding in another level of bureaucracy at a time when people have such a hard time even getting meals on their table in some homes and gas in their tanks. So I also am concerned that that could be a bureaucratic structure that would allow for streamlining of certain tax incentives or abatements that have actually been undermining and hurting our economy and our school districts in this county. So I urge you to reconsider that and to really take that under a lot of serious consideration. I also agree with some of the other comments that have been made. I think that going forward with number 5, while well-intentioned, is actually going to leave you open to a lot of potential litigious action. And I just don't think this is a wise thing. Again, while well-intentioned and looks really nice, I think that having such punitive actions towards voters with things that could be very subjective and open to a lot of interpretation with a voter is just going to open the door for a lot of problems. So maybe we can reconsider that, change the wording, change where we're going with that, and come up with a little bit better piece of work there that will benefit everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Vinatieri. Next up, we have somebody listed as Dave's. Dave's, can you hear us? We're going to come back to you. The next one.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, sir. Can you state your name and municipality for the record?
Mr. Chairman, this is Dave Thomas of Kingston, PA.
Go ahead, sir.
I just want to speak to the Poll Worker Protection Act. Some misinformation I heard. There have been over 2,000 threat reports sent to the DOJ and FBI task force since 2024 alone. The federal criminal charges that have been brought, there have been 20 individuals charged since 2024, resulting in 15 convictions. This is a real issue. Our people that show up in to serve as poll workers in municipal elections are not currently protected, is my understanding. My understanding is that right now, the poll workers that are protected are only those that are participating when there are federal elections. And I think this is something that's vital to uphold our civil society in this country. And I think ultimately that's what this is about. And I think we need to ensure that regular order is maintained, that we have free and fair elections where we do not have intimidation of our poll workers, which has historically been occurring more and more very recently. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Next up, we have somebody that is labeled iPad.
Yes, good evening, councilors. Walter Griffith.
Good evening, Mr. Griffith.
Good evening. First of all, I want to thank the chairman for putting the introduction of ordinances on the agenda correctly tonight. The format used tonight allows for the proper introduction of an ordinance, and I appreciate that very much. I'd like to speak about the introduction of the ICE division ordinance on the agenda, which is item number 4, I believe, regarding the creation
This meeting is being recorded.
I have a few points I would like to make regarding this issue. Number one, I do believe that this is a structural change in the charter and needs to be done by a question placed on the ballot for the voters to approve. However, the solicitor for the county has given an opinion, and that's not needed, and I strongly disagree with this opinion and would suggest you get the opinion in writing for future reference. Number two, if in fact this is not a structural change and can be done by amending the administrative code, why was this not done prior to the budget process? To allow the county council to approve funding for this division and the departments. How can you approve funding for a division and departments that were not created or do not exist? In addition, if in fact we are going to fund the division head in the 2026 budget, why did we not also approve funding for the various departments that are contained within that division in the budget? And lastly, is the administrative services division budget going to be reduced due to the reasons we are removing the departments from that division and placing them in the new ICE division? What is the division number and what are the department numbers? There's been no mention of that. County council's main function is financial oversight and legislation. So until there is a cost analysis and a return on investment for the creating of a new division, I would strongly urge county council to vote no to introduce this ordinance. There are way too many questions that are left unanswered and way too many things that can happen legally if it's done improperly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Griffith. Anyone else on the Zoom? I do have one that was submitted to council. Dear County Council, please read this letter into the record during public comment period following the voting session. Following the voting session. Okay. So this is for F. Okay. So public comment is done. We're going to go to agenda items. Wait. Okay, we do have one more person on the Zoom that wants to speak. Laura P.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please state your full name and your municipality for the record.
Laura Pinero, Wilkes-Barre City.
Go ahead, ma'am.
The reason why I came tonight is because I wanted to urge Luzerne County Council not to bring ICE in any way, shape, or form into Luzerne County. We see everything that's going on in the news with what they're doing in Minnesota, killing people.
Ma'am, I hate to interrupt you, but the ICE that you're referring to is not the Division of Infrastructure, Community and Economic Development, which we are proposing. If you'd like to speak about ICE and bringing them to the county, you could do that at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Seeing that there are no other comments, items, first agenda item, motion to approve the minutes of the December 16th, 2025 voting session.
I'll move.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain.
I wasn't at the meeting.
Okay. So one abstention. Item number 2, motion to approve the minutes of the December 29th, 2025 special meeting.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention?
Abstention. I wasn't a member of the council.
All right. Item number 3, motion to approve the minutes of the January 5th, 2026 reorganization meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Any abstention? Now we're going into the motion to introduce an ordinance amending Article 4 of the Administrative Code in accordance with the Home Rule Charter of Luzerne County, creating the Division of Infrastructure, Community, and Economic Development. This is an ordinance introduction, needs 4 votes from a council member. There is no debate on it. It will be on the work session where we will discuss further. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Lawrence, roll call vote?
Mr. Kozlet,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
No.
Ms. Krasinski, Mr. Lombardo,
Yes.
McDermott,
No.
Ms. Simmons,
No.
Ms. Smith,
No.
Ms. Stevenson, Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bellis,
Yes.
Sabatino,
Yes. Next up, we have a motion to introduce an ordinance establishing protections for election workers from harassment, intimidation, and retaliation. This is another one that would need 4 votes from council.
So moved.
Oh,
Yeah, Mr.
sorry.
Chairman, what was the result?
Sorry about that.
7-4.
It was 7-4 to approve the introduction of the new division. On to motion item number 5, motion to introduce ordinance establishing protections for election workers from harassment, intimidation, and retaliation.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Lawrence, roll call?
Mr. Hawes,
No.
Ms. Krasinski, Mr. Lombardo,
No.
Ms. McDermott,
No.
Ms. Simmons,
No.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Stevenson, Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bellis,
Yes.
Mr. Kozlet,
No.
Mr. Sabatino,
Yes for introduction.
yes.
It is introduced. Next up, we have a motion to adopt an ordinance amending the 2025 fiscal year budget for Luzerne County Human Services Grant.
Second.
Okay, on the question? Seeing no discussion, we'll go to a roll call vote.
Ms. Krasinski, Mr. Lombardo,
Yes.
Ms. McDermott,
Yes.
Ms. Simmons,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson, Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bellis,
Yes.
Mr. Kozlet,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Sabatino,
Yes.
unanimous.
Item number 6, we just did. Item number 7, motion to adopt a resolution approving a modification to an American Rescue Plan Act Funds Award Project, the Beaver Brook Association.
So moved.
Second.
Anyone on the question? Roll call, Ms. Lawrence?
Mr. Lombardo,
Yes.
Ms. McDermott,
Yes.
Ms. Simmons,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bellis,
Yes.
Mr. Kozlet,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Krishnowski, Sabatino,
Yes.
unanimous.
Item number 9, motion to adopt resolution approving a modification to an American Rescue Plan Act Funds Award Project, Wyoming Borough. We did so, okay, sorry. Number 8, motion to adopt a resolution approving a modification to an American Rescue Plan Act Funds Award Project for Sawyerville Parks and Recreation Board.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. McDermott,
Yes.
Ms. Simmons,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
As someone who's lived on the west side my entire life and finds that it is so important to keep these spaces open, I am proud to say yes to this.
Ms. Stevenson, Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bellis,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Kozlet,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Krishnowski, Lombardo,
Yes.
Sabatino,
Yes. Number 9, motion to adopt a resolution approving a modification to an American Rescue Plan Act Funds Award Project for Wyoming Borough.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Simmons,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Again, as a proud member of Wyoming Borough, I would say yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bellis,
Yes.
Mr. Kozlet,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Krishnowski, Mr. Lombardo,
Yes.
Dermott,
Yes.
Sabatino,
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 10, motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the county manager to execute an agreement of sale between Luzerne County and YMSF Family Partnership LP for real property located at 100 West Broad Street in Hazleton.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, anyone? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Williams, or Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bellis,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Kozlet,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Krishnowski, Mr. Lombardo,
Yes.
Dermott,
Yes.
Ms. Simmons,
Yes.
Sabatino,
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 11, motion to approve the 2026 County Council meeting schedule.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bellis,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Kozlet,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Krishnowski, Mr. Lombardo,
Yes.
McDermott, Simmons,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Sabatino,
Yes.
and
Now we're going to go into number 12, motions regarding appointments to Luzerne County Council committees and related committees. And these are all going to be made by resolution. So we'll need a motion
Motion to
to
open nomination.
open nominations for the Luzerne County District Board of Conservation District Board of Directors.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any nominations?
Yes.
Oh, we need to vote. All in favor of opening nominations?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Nominations are now open. Any nominations?
I motion to nominate Patty Christian.
I'll second that.
Any other nominations?
Motion to close nominations, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor?
Aye.
We need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Now we'll have a motion to adopt a resolution approving Patty Krushnowski to the Luzerne County District Conservation District Board of Directors.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bellis,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Kozlet,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Krishnowski, Mr. Lombardo,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Stevenson,
Yes.
Sabatino,
Yes. The next one is a motion to open nominations to appointing a county council member to the Luzerne, Wyoming County's Mental Health and Developmental Services Program Advisory Board.
Motion to open?
Second.
Okay, nominations are now open. Are there?
Chair, I'd like to
Oh,
nominate,
vote. Sorry,
I'm sorry.
my bad. All in favor of opening nominations?
Aye.
Aye.
Chairman, I'd
Any
like to
opposed?
nominate,
Any abstentions? Mr. Haas?
are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'd like to nominate my colleague, John Bryn Smith.
I'll second it.
Any other nominations?
Motion to
close.
close. Second.
All in favor of closing nominations?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Now we will have a motion to appoint Joanna Bryn Smith to the Luzerne, Wyoming County's Mental Health and Developmental Services Program Advisory Board.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
I have a question.
Only question.
I did look online and the current position is held by Ms. Stevenson and the term is through December of 2026. Is that okay?
Is Tara Fox present? Megan Stone, would you happen to be able to confirm on that? My appointment doesn't expire until December of 26 for mental health and research. Thank you.
Then my appointment would not have expired either when we voted for Brittany. Because my first year I was on it, I was nominated and voted. Then Brittany was voted, but perhaps that should never have happened. If it's a 2-year position,
It's
So-
a 3-year.
then it still would be me if it's 3 years.
There's a debate on the number of years. I was speaking with Shannon Craig-Lasky, and the bylaws have changed over the years for the Human Service Agency. So at one point, the year may have been 1 year, may have been 2 years, may have been 4 years. So right now we did it for 1 year. We have to go off the bylaws that were last approved, and that could be back to 2012.
So right now the bylaws afford for 1 year.
That
So
is what
Point of
Shannon-
order,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, could we just fulfill Ms. Stevenson's position for you with Ms. Prince, if she's so willing to step down? I don't know, Mr. Skeen, if you could comment on that,
Mhm.
to make it copacetic?
Is there just one board member, one council member on that? board?
yes,
If Ms. Stevenson wants to, if it's not open now,
I thought-
then you'd have to come back.
should we table it? I'll
should
entertain a
table this.
motion to table this one.
Motion to table?
Second.
Well, on the question,
Okay,
Sharon, you said that there is a difference between the bylaws. Some people think it's 3 years, some people think it's 1 year. Is that
4 years.
correct? So then either way, my appointment would still be good.
not if it was for 1 year.
It would be, not if it was for 1 year,
Mhm.
but if it is for 4 years, then my appointment would still be.
The current bylaws say 3 years.
Then it would still be me.
Ms. Skeen?
Yes, the bylaws have not been updated for a long time, and they are different between each committee. So the Office of Law has prepared new bylaws for all of the committees, but when we were reviewing it, last bylaws committee, ABC's committee, did not take action on that. But we have a format, each committee to have new bylaw. And I would recommend that we have, when the committees meet, that they adopt the bylaw.
But the bylaws right now
Right,
say what?
so,
Not the ones we want them to adopt,
right,
the ones that they have.
so.
The current bylaws were not approved.
So the last approved bylaws, that's what I'm asking. The last approved bylaws, although they be very old, you said what, 2012?
Mhm.
They are the last approved bylaws, am I wrong?
So can
I
we
am
table
wrong?
this until we find the correct bylaws and revisit this at the next meeting? So is there a motion to table this?
Motion to table.
Yeah, a motion, a second on tabling. All right, roll call vote?
Mr. Bellis,
Aye.
Mr. Kozlet,
Yes.
Mr. Haas.
Yes.
Krasnowski, Mr. Lombardo,
Yes.
Ms. McDermott,
Yes.
Ms. Simmons,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Sabatino.
Yes.
Unanimous. Table.
Okay. Now we'll go to letter C, and a motion to open nominations to adopt appointing a county council member to the Greater Hazelton Can-Do Board of Directors.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Nominations are now open.
Like Jim Sabatino.
Second.
All right. Any other nominations?
Motion to close nomination.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Now we'll have a motion to approve Jimmy Sabatino to the Greater Hazelton Area Can-Do Board of Directors.
Motion.
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote.
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Ms. Krasnowski, Mr. Lombardo,
Yes.
Ms. McDermott,
Yes.
Ms. Simmons,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bellis,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Sabatino.
Yes. Now on to letter D, motion to open up nominations, appointing a county council member to the Wilkes-Barre Riverfronts Park Committee.
Motion to open?
A real
Yes.
quick point of order, or maybe it's a privilege. Anyway, can we just make sure everybody is using their microphones? Because I can't hear exactly who's voting for what.
Yes, council members, please click on your microphones and then click them off so we don't get the reverb. Now we fixed them too well.
First by Mr. Lombardo, I need a second.
Second?
Nomination, are all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Nominations are now open.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Haas.
I'd motion to nominate Denise Williams.
I'll second Mr. Lombardo's nomination of Mr.
Any other nominations?
Yes, I'd like the motion to nominate Denise.
Is there a second for Ms. Williams?
I'll second.
All right. Any other nominations? Motion to close
Oh,
nominations?
wait.
Okay.
I'd like to motion to nominate Brittany Stevenson.
Okay, is there a second for Ms. Stevenson?
Second.
Okay. Any other nominations? Motion to close nominations.
I'll make a motion to close nomination.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, all in favor of closing nominations?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any against? Any abstentions? No. All right, now we need them. What we're gonna do is a round robin similar to when we did the chair vote, where council members will say the name of the person that they want to be the nominee for this committee. So, Lawrence, take it away.
Mr. Haas,
Harry Haas.
Ms. Krasnowski,
Denise Williams.
Mr. Lombardo,
Mr. Haas.
McDermott,
Mr. Haas.
Ms. Simmons,
Stevenson.
Ms. Excuse me. Ms. Smith,
Councilwoman Stevenson.
Stevenson,
Williams.
Ms. Williams,
Miss Councilwoman Stevenson.
Mr. Bellis,
Williams.
Mr. Coslet,
Stevenson.
Mr. Sabatino,
Stevenson?
okay, we have 3 for Mr. Haas, 3 for Williams, 5 for, no one got 6, and here's the tie.
You can strike my name from the nominations.
Thank you, Mr. Haas.
We still would have,
Okay. Do we have to do another round without Mr. Haas in the mix? So go ahead, Lawrence.
Ms. Krasinowski,
Ms. Williams,
Mr. Lombardo,
Ms. Williams,
Ms. McDermott,
Ms. Stevenson.
Ms. Simmons,
Stevenson.
Ms. Smith,
Stevenson.
Ms. Stevenson,
Williams,
Ms. Williams,
Stevenson.
Mr. Bellis,
Williams.
Mr. Kozlet,
Stevens.
Mr. Haas,
Mrs. Williams.
and Mr. Sabatino.
Stevenson.
Here we have Ms. Stevenson with 6 and Williams with 5. Ms. Stevenson.
Now, can a motion to appoint Ms. Stevenson to be the council member to
So
the,
move, Mr. Chair.
second.
okay, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Lombardo,
Yes.
Dermott,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
yes,
Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bellis,
Yes.
Mr. Kozlet,
Yes.
Mr. Haas,
Yes.
Krasinowski,
yes,
Mr. Sabatino.
Yeah.
Unanimous.
All right. Now I will entertain a motion to open nominations to appoint a county council member to the retirement board.
So
Motion to
moved.
open.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Nominations are now open. I would like to nominate John Lombardo.
second,
second,
Any other nominations?
I would like to nominate Chris Bellis.
Or a second for Mr. Bellis?
Second.
All right. Any other nominations? Motion to close?
Motion closed.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Nominations are now closed. We'll do another round robin where you state the name of the person that you want to be the nominee for that, for the retirement board. Mr. Lawrence?
Ms. Krasinowski, Mr. Lombardo,
Mr. Lombardo,
McDermott,
Mr. Lombardo.
Ms. Simmons,
Bellis.
Ms. Smith,
Bellis.
Stevenson,
Bellis,
Williams,
Bellis.
Mr. Bellis,
Bellis.
Kozlet,
Bellis.
Mr. Haas,
Mr. Lombardo.
Mr. Sabatino.
Mr. Lombardo?
5 for Mr. Lombardo, 6 for Bellis.
Congratulations, Mr. Bellis. Now we need a motion to appoint Mr. Councilman Bellis to the retirement board.
motion.
Second.
Joanna. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Lombardo,
Yes.
Ms. McDermott,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Stevenson,
yes,
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bellis,
Yes.
Mr. Kozlet,
Yes.
Mr. Haas.
Yes.
Krasinowski.
yes,
Sabatino.
Yes.
Unanimous.
All right. Number 13, Luzerne County Council Committee appointments made by the chair. These are the committees that I've appointed to so far. The authorities, boards, and commissions, Ms. Stevenson, by nature of being the vice chair, is the chair of that committee. Ms. Williams will be the vice chair of that committee, and Mr. Lombardo will be on that committee as well. The Act 13 Grant Committee will be chaired by Ms. Krasinowski. Mr. Kozlet will be the vice chair, and Mr. Haas will be on that committee as well. Budget, Finance, and Audit will be chaired by Councilman Bellis. Councilman Haas will be the vice chair, and Ms. Smith will be on that committee as well. The Real Estate Committee will be chaired by Don Simmons. It'll be Ms. McDermott will be the vice chair, and Ms. Stevenson will also be on that committee. And then the Legislative Committee will be chaired by Ms. Stevenson. Mr. Lombardo will be the vice chair, and I will be just a member of that committee. The other two appointments that I have to make are to the Airport Board. and to the Retirement Board. So I will be making those appointments right now. I will be appointing Chris Bellis as the chair's appointee to the Airport Board and Mr. Lombardo as my appointee to the Retirement Board. Okay. Next up, number 14, appointments to boards and commissions. The Conservation District is the first one. Is there a motion to open nominations to the Conservation District?
Motion to open.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Nominations are now open.
You can nominate both time two rather than two separate. Yeah.
So we can nominate both of these gentlemen, these people, at the same time, and then we will do the resolution separate. So any nominations?
A motion to nominate Tracy Procombe, sorry,
Okay. Okay.
and Thomas Herbert to the Conservation District of Director.
I'll second.
Okay. Any other nomination? Motion to close?
Motion to close. Mr. Chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? We'll do the resolution for Ms. Chonko first. Or is there a motion to nominate Tracy Chonko to the, well, is there a motion to approve the resolution placing Tracy Chonko onto the Conservation District?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. McDermott,
Yes.
Ms. Simmons,
Yes.
Ms. Smith, Ms. Stevenson.
Yes.
Yes.
Steven, Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bellis,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Kozlet,
Yes.
Mr. Haas.
Yes.
Krishnowski.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo,
Yes.
Sabatino,
Yes.
unanimous.
All right, the next, I will entertain a motion for a resolution appointing Thomas Herbert to the Conservation District.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Simmons,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson.
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bellis,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Kozlet, Mr. Haas.
Yes.
Krishnowski.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Mr. Sabatino,
Yes.
unanimous.
All right, motion to open nominations for the Planning Commission.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Is there a
So
second?
moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Nominations are now open.
I'd like to nominate Mr. McKittish.
All right, any,
Motion to close nominations, Mr. Chairman?
thank you. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? We will now do the resolution approving Peter McKittish to the Planning Commission.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson, Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bellis,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Kozlet, Mr. Haas,
Yes.
Ms. Krishnowski,
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Simmons. Yes, I'm sorry,
Yes.
and Mr. Sabatino.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Motion to adopt a resolution declaring a vacancy on the Luzerne County Redevelopment Authority due to the resignation of a member.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bellis,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Kozlet,
Yes.
Mr. Haas.
Yes.
Krishnowski.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Ms. Simmons,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Sabatino,
Yes.
unanimous.
All right, we've made it to the second round of public comment. This round of public comment can be on any item. Is there anyone from the audience who'd like to make a public comment? Go ahead, sir. Yes, I'm sure.
Not gonna get electric, am I? Give me 1 second, sorry. Bob Kalabowski. I'm here tonight to talk about, there's an issue going on in Wilkes-Barre Township Council, up in Wilkes-Barre Township, with a company named Blue Cup. And I think they're going to be coming here for an extension on, for their loan leader, or whatever they call it, to get an extension before council does anything. And it's hard for me to talk about something that's going on for 3 years. For how many minutes do you get here for this? 3. I mean, we have 3 years of frustration up there, and for me to explain to you in 3 minutes what's going on. So the main thing I want to say to you is, before you do anything with this company, you have to bring them in here. I mean, they have to come in here to ask for this extension? You don't just do it through a letter, because the people up in Wilkes-Barre Township are outraged that this company is getting a 65% tax break, and they just raised the taxes up on the citizens 64%. And the last meeting they had was, the people are fuming, because what this company is going to do, from what I am told, they're going to put this building up, get this 65% tax break, and they're going to sell this building and make tens of millions of dollars on the back of the taxpayers of the township. But also, don't forget, Luzerne County just raised taxes up too. And I think Mr. Attorney Skeen brought up a point that we could possibly renegotiate this if we're going to get stuck with this, to get more money out of them. But in order to be fair to the company and the people from the township, I could get them to, some people come down if Blue Cup's going to be here, because the people up there are outraged that they're stuck with a 64% tax increase, and this building up there, 1 million square feet, that nobody even wants up there, are going to get this big tax break. So before they do anything, have them come here, and we want some people from the township here too, to renegotiate this. Because one citizen brought up is, why do we have to give them 65%, especially when we're raising all the taxes up on the township residents? Could do half of it. But before you do anything, and also to explain this is going to take more than 3 minutes. And there's other factors with this that the council should be made aware of. It's about 309 up there, where this 1 million square foot building goes, is a death trap. Their own chief of police, Will Clark, said it's the most dangerous corridor in the whole Route 309 system. This building, it's not going to work up there. And that's something the council should also be aware of too, because, you know, Luzerne County citizens travel there all the time. It's a constant thing.
Thank you, sir. 3 minutes are up.
And see, this is the thing, council, just 30 seconds. You've got to change these rules a little bit when there's important issues.
Thank you. Your time is up.
All right, my time's up, but what I'm just trying to say is, you've got to give people more time, because it's not fair. I sit here for all this time and I get 3 lousy minutes, and
Sir,
it's not
Your
fair.
time is up.
I understand. Well, you got to change the rules, because there's important
Sir.
issues.
Please be seated.
I'm going to be seated, but
Thank you.
it's just not fair.
Anyone else from the audience that'd like to make a comment? Go to the podium, sir. State your name and municipality in which you reside.
Dan Walsh, born and raised in Miners Mills. I just wanted to touch upon I didn't realize the poll workers went through so much aggravation and harassment and all this stuff. But anyhow, I watch myself also about how you put that in there if you do decide to push it through with the ordinance. But my main concern too is I wasn't planning on speaking. In fact, this is the first time I've been up here in front of council, to a council meeting in Luzerne County in decades. Is the money, the pandemic money. Okay, some of you guys know who I am on Facebook, I'm sure. I'd like to know how much went to the senior citizens, since the senior citizens dealt with the brunt of the pandemic. Okay, my poor daddy, my beloved father, died from COVID. Okay, And I'd like to know, when you look at the pie chart, okay, on where the money went, I'm thinking to myself, what did we get? What did my fellow senior citizens get out of this? And I've been holding off for a year. I was going to nail you guys, not the new ones. I voted for some of you new people with a lawsuit just to get things organized and in order. And like, why did we get such a small percentage of the pandemic money? 113 million bucks is a lot of money. Okay. So I needed to get that off my chest more than anything. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else from the audience? Ms. Fusara?
To say I'm disappointed is, you know, oh, well, Alyssa Fusaro, Luzerne Borough. I understand that it's just an introduction, but understand that you as council are not above the state and government, the state and the US government. You are not above those laws. Okay, you are county council. That doesn't mean that you get to impose your own fines in addition to what the state is. When the state says there's a max, that means there's a max. When the government says there's a max, that means there's a max. You don't get to go above and beyond over that. And so I'm asking you to reconsider. I'm asking you to understand there are laws in place, and you are, if you do this and you put this through, you are essentially intimidating the voters here in Luzerne County. And it is not fair and it's not right. We have things in place. And to the person who made the comment that it happens all over the place, guess what? It doesn't happen here in Luzerne County. We haven't had voter intimidation, you know, here in Luzerne County I'm sorry, we have not had it. Election worker intimidation here in Luzerne County, not documented that I'm aware of. And I think putting these things in place it just hurts the voter. It really sincerely hurts the voter. We want people to feel, yes, we want free and fair elections, but we want someone to be able to walk in, and if they have a problem with their ballot, not be afraid to say something. Not be afraid to take that. If they have a problem with the machine or something like that, well, no, there's this law that what if they take this the wrong way? That's what you're doing. Think about it. Think about it before you pass this, because it can cause problems. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the audience? Mr. Herring?
I usually don't get a chance to make it here, so I'm actually happy I'm here tonight. All right, so little different tune for me tonight. First and foremost, when I was on the Ethics Commission, I was told it was at 6 p.m., but it ended up being at 2 p.m. So I took leave to come because that was my responsibility when I signed up for it. I find it a little concerning that it's meeting number 1 and we already have a council member that's not here tonight. So I think if you run for election and get elected into this body, you should at least have the decency to show up. Secondly, and more importantly, thank you to sitting in front of me, Mr. Kozlet, Ms. Simmons, not for your vote, because you're going to vote the way you want to vote, but because I think objective, critical thinking is a lost art in this country nowadays. People go with what Twitter tells them to, or they go with a political party tells them to, and they don't think critically. They don't actually think about things in an objective manner. And it's dying more and more each day. So I thank you, again, not for your vote, for actually thinking this through and making a vote. But I actually told my colleagues here, and I wish I was wrong, I said this vote's going to break 6-5. Those two are going to vote no, Republicans are going to vote no, and 6 Action Together NEPA Democrats on this council are going to vote yes. I called it, and it was exactly the vote that came in. And here's how I know that. Action Together NEPA is funding you guys. That's clear as day. So I got a very, very important message I wanted to get out tonight. And I want it on record, and I hope people are watching at home. The Republican Party, if you're a Republican or conservative, you need to wake up. The next 2 years is going to be a big roller coaster. It's going to be a struggle. And Action Together NEPA is infiltrating every level of our government. The Ethics Commission has a member on it now, and now we have 6 on council. What do they stand for, you might ask me? They work with the Democrat Socialists of America, DSA. Look it up. They oppose ICE. There's going to be an ordinance here in the next few months. I guarantee it, as I'm standing here today, that's going to be an ordinance to not work with ICE in Luzerne County. They support trans surgeries on children. They attend all the No Kings rallies. They want drop boxes on demand everywhere, including Miss Williams. Their 2023 tax return was $450,000. Guess what their 2024 one was? 2.6 million. That's not organic funding, by the way. That's funding coming from out of town. If you want Luzerne County to turn into San Francisco, then keep turning an eye, Republicans. Keep not getting involved. But if we want to make this government a conservative, grounded in American first principles, where we respect law and order, we respect our law enforcement officers, then you need to get your heads out of your rear end. Get involved, knock it off. I'm here tonight. I'll be here as long as I need to be, but we need more because we're going to have 2 rough years here. And if that is what you want, is Action Together NEPA to come here and run our county, congratulations, you just got it.
Thank you, Mr. Herring. Anyone else from the audience? All right, from the Zoom, we have Mr. Raybo. Mark?
Mr. Chairman, this is Mark Rainbow speaking. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Raybo, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to dovetail off of what Mr. Herring said as far as the rule of law and order, because as the council just did for this agenda item number 4, the violation of the Constitution happened, and also with respect to agenda item number 5, I would direct everyone's attention to the Pennsylvania Constitution, Article 9, Section 2, under Home Rule, the last sentence. A municipality which has a home rule charter may exercise any power or perform any function not denied by this Constitution, by its home rule charter, or by the General Assembly at any time. So, in other words, this county council enacted legislation subverting the state legislature and overriding a ruling of the state Supreme Court and the Commonwealth Court. And I hope for your sakes that you don't vote to approve this at the next meeting. And you discuss this thoroughly, and I hope the solicitors and the county manager and the member of county council who has a law license follows the rules of professional conduct, because legal opinion does not protect you or shield you from violating the Constitution and a ruling of the Supreme Court and the Commonwealth Court. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Raybo. Next up, we have Mr. Griffith.
Yes. Yep. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. A couple of points. At the last meeting that in the meeting when you started the council, the request was made to open the 2026 budget. I don't see that was on the agenda, so apparently there's no members of council that feel that we can eliminate the tax increase for the people of this county based on what Mr. Hawes brought to the previous council. Also, the second item I want to bring up is the issue with the election law that you guys want to pass for an ordinance. Back when they were going to do drop boxes, I told the director of, the Board of Elections chair, which was Ms. Williams at the time, that I was going to stand in front of a drop box and film people that were dropping their ballots in the drop boxes. I was told at that moment by the chair that if I did that, she would take steps to have the district attorney arrest me for intimidating the voters. Now we want to pass a law that says the very same thing that's already there. I don't understand that. But there's already laws on the books, so why are we doing this? The last point I want to make is this council needs to hire their own solicitor. This has been an issue since 2012 when the charter came into being. There's an inherent conflict between the solicitor of this council and the solicitor for the manager. Inherent. And I am strongly suggesting, based on the study commission's recommendation, that council doesn't need to make a charter change to do that. They have the power to hire their own solicitor. Is built right into the charter, according to the solicitor for the study commission. So I strongly suggest that this council look into that and get your own solicitor to give your own independent opinions. So we don't have these conflicts where there's charter issues and we're basing our whole idea on a solicitor's opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. Next up, we have Mr. Thomas. Dave?
Mr. Chairman, as of right now, there are no local laws protecting poll workers in non-federal elections. And I may not have the gravitas of someone who gets into fights with people in parking lots, but I would suggest that we do get some kind of ordinance passed because there are malicious actors out there who make a living grifting the Republicans and any like-minded people and want nothing more than to subvert our elections. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Next up, we have Laura P.
Yeah, I came to talk about, there's a really bad echo.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
But would you start with your name and full name and municipality for the record, please?
Laura Pinero, Wilkes-Barre City. I came to talk about the 287G agreement that allows the county prosecutor to allow his deputies to work with ICE. And the Luzerne County Flood Authority that is bringing ICE into the community. Every day we see stories on the news about the horrific way they're treating citizens. Just yesterday, they handcuffed a Marine veteran, United States citizen female, so badly and so severely. It took 6 people to get the handcuffs off of her. They're dragging pregnant women by the hair in the street. They killed someone. And if we have no reason to think that they won't do that here if we allow them to come. So I urge county council to please talk to the district attorney and discourage him any way that you can from bringing ICE here to Luzerne County. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up, we have Mr. Urban.
Stephen J. Urban, Kingston Borough. Want to just reiterate that there's already laws on the books regarding some of the infractions that are mentioned in the proposed ordinance that was introduced tonight. I think you're overstepping your bounds as a county council. You guys are supposed to be legislators, but you also have to look at the crimes code and see what's in your lane as a county official and a public official. And I don't think you can go beyond the crimes code that's already, stated in Pennsylvania law. If you don't like the law, maybe you should ask your legislature to change some of those laws. You obviously have a Democratic majority in the state house. I'm sure you guys are friends with some of those people. You probably can change the laws. Speaking of which, you have a county council member sitting on that council right now that, in my opinion, doesn't belong there for 2 years. I had brought up election petitions that were signed by, the same handwriting for multiple signatures. I took it to law enforcement. They did really nothing about it. Unfortunately, we went to the AG's office. Although same type of issue occurred out in Western Pennsylvania where somebody got nailed for unsworn falsification, identity theft, because there was a federal judge's signature on that set of petitions, but not one here in Luzerne County. even though there were, like 20 Republicans, there were out-of-state people that signed this particular councilperson's position. I don't think that council person needs to be sitting there because they don't even know what county they're living in and where they can get qualified signatures to get on the ballot. But subsequently, that person won. That person actually voted to raise your taxes. And that's the kind of stuff that people need to pay attention to. When I brought this issue up, the challenge period was over a couple of years ago, but the criminal statute of limitations, it just ran out recently because it's 2 years on that kind of stuff. But I wanted the public to be aware that this stuff goes on. And you have a person sitting up there in the number 2 seat right now that's impacting the way of life here in Luzerne County that shouldn't even be there to begin with, because the petitions, in my opinion, are fraudulent. And I know this because I had people sign, one person signed an affidavit that was notarized, that person never got the signature from that individual, whom I know personally, and that person was Republican, and the person that's sitting in the chair is a Democrat. So, we will be paying attention a lot closer in 2 years when this person's running for re-election. And that's all I have to say for now.
Thank you, Mr. Irvin. David D.
Hello, David Dominguez here. Good evening.
State your municipality for the
Yes.
record, please.
Hazelton City.
All right, go ahead, sir.
All right, first of all, I want to congratulate all the Luzerne County Council newly elected members. And to move on to business, I want to be brief. First of all, I'm closely monitoring the sale of the 100 West Broad Street because this is prime location in downtown. And as a community leader, I'm just making sure that council assures that the buyer will develop the property in a way that aligns with revitalization. And we definitely want to see the property return to the tax rolls, but we want to ensure that it just doesn't sit dormant, especially that LCC isn't affected. And I just want you to also keep in mind that Southern Luzerne County needs lots of attention being paid to its infrastructure, specifically its roads and some of its handicap accessibility. It's a complaint that has been garnered in our community for at least 10 years. And I'm sure Sabatino, as a Hazelton native, could probably identify with some of the things I'm saying. But that's all I have for tonight. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dominguez. Anyone else on the Zoom? Mr. Grantede, go ahead.
Okay. Joe Grantee, Plains Township. First of all, I'd like to extend my gratitude to Walter Griffith for his service over the past 4 years here and before that. And I'm glad to see that his thoughtful ideas, his informative, the work he does to inform people of what's lawful and not lawful is going to continue for the next 4 years, even if it's not in an official position. Luzerne County needs Walter Griffith and people like Walter Griffith to hold the line here. And I just want to appreciate him for what he's done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grantee. Anyone else on Zoom or public in the audience? No? Okay, I will read. Thank you, Mr. Grantee. I will now read this. Dear County Council, please read this letter into the record during the public comment period following the voting session on Tuesday, January 13th. I am writing in support of an election protection ordinance for the following reason. During the paper shortage election of 2022, 2 minutes after the polls closed at 10 p.m., a known agitator accompanied by a registered voter from Plymouth, the Plymouth ward where I serve, entered the polling place and demanded that we reopen the polls so that the accompanying individual could vote. When I explained that the polls had closed on time, the agitator threatened to sue us if we refused. After a long and uncomfortable exchange, the two eventually left. I later learned that an elected official had sent them in there in an attempt to trip us up, For what reason is unclear. That official had neither the authority nor the right to do so, and their actions added unnecessary stress to an already exhausting day for the poll workers. Had I realized at the time that this was an effort to entice us into committing election fraud, I would have contacted law enforcement immediately. Unfortunately, amid the chaos of the day, that realization only came later. It would have been extremely helpful to have an ordinance in place on paper with clearly defined examples of harassment. Such guidance would have enabled us to better assess the situation and follow the appropriate procedures without hesitation. Sincerely, Scott Cannon, Plymouth. Motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, before we adjourn, would it be
Sure.
possible that I could opine on that letter, or should I wait until we are discussing the election worker protection ordinance?
I think wait till they,
Sounds like a plan.
no problem. Motion to adjourn.
One moment, one moment. Chair, just two issues. I would like to respectfully request that we do bring the district attorney, Samuel Sanguinolce, to appear before us to discuss the issue with his agreement with ICE, specifically the monetary issue and the liability issues. If you would add that to the agenda.
Okay.
And secondly, I would also like to just make a note that someone mentioned Councilman Christopher Bellis is not here. He is in fact on the Zoom. I'd like to note for the record. I'd also like to note for the record that it is my understanding he was given special permission not to be here because he is very ill with the flu. And I, for one, would not like to have that again this year. And I believe that most of us in this room would not. So I just wanted to make that clear.
That is correct. I did give him permission not to come because he had the flu. Out of respect for everybody in the room, I did give him permission to have the communication over Zoom.
I appreciate that.
And one more thing before I ask for a motion to adjourn. I'd like to thank the IT department for fixing the microphones and getting it so everybody can be heard. I'd just like to remind council members to use them now. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Let us reconvene at 8 p.m. Thank you. 1 minute warning, council members, 1 minute warning. Council members, it's 8 o'clock. All right, council members, let's get the meeting, the work session started. We already had the Pledge of Allegiance in the moment of silence. Ms. Lawrence, will you do the roll call, please?
Mr. Bellis,
Here.
Mr. Kozlet,
Here.
Mr. Haas.
Here.
Krishnowski.
Here.
Mr. Lombardo,
Here.
McDermott,
Here.
Ms. Simmons,
Here.
Smith,
Here.
Ms. Stevenson,
Here.
Ms. Williams,
Here.
Sabatino,
Here.
all present.
All right, any additions or deletions from the work session agenda tonight? Seeing none,
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The work session agenda is adopted. Item number 1, receive and discuss division reports for December 2025. County Manager Kokomo.
Good evening, County Council members. I am submitting my December division report. The highlight of that report has to be the food drive that we honored food dignity and fork over love. This would not have been able to be accomplished without the hard work of Councilwoman Stevenson and Megan Stone of the Division of Human Services. And it was a total team effort, and it was a success. And we'll be doing those food drives quarterly. So if any council member has any questions about the report, obviously, you can reach me by phone. You can text me, you can email me, and I'll be more than happy to answer the questions. I've spoken to some of the new council members with the format of the report, and I'm not married to that format. This is one that has been historically used. There is a lot of information that's in those reports because of the enormous amount of work that our staff does. But if there is another format that council would want the division report to be in, I'll be more than happy to accommodate that.
Thank you, Manager Crookman. Number 2, discussion regarding a resolution authorizing the Luzerne County Manager to execute a partnership and operating agreement with Lackawanna County for the operation of the Wilkes-Barre Scranton International Airport. Okay, Mr. Skeen, you want to talk on this? Or County Manager?
I would defer to the Chief County Solicitor for a lot of reasons. He was really involved in negotiations, and I'm losing my voice, which makes
All right, Mr. Skeen.
It makes my sisters very.
All right.
By default, I'll take over. And so a little time back, their FAA has decided that they want to change the organization. The airport has been run by a partnership since late 50s, early 60s in the formation. Eventually, the airport was formed and continued to run as a. We were asked by the FAA to form a more formal partnership where we not only have formal partnership agreement, but we register with the state and that we operate it. It was not being operated illegally before, but it wasn't meeting all the standards. So in their drop-down menu, our kind of partnership did not exist, so they wanted that. In order for that to be updated, we have to issue a new partnership agreement. And between myself, the FAA attorney, and solicitor from Lackawanna County, we have an agreement that I believe works. And the FAA had said that the entity has to be either sponsored by one or the other counties, be an authority, or be an official partner. So, as we all know, I don't get a vote, but I would think the choice of partnership would be the best one out of. To be a sole sponsor, we would have to take over the airport, which would require us to run an airport, which would not be the easiest thing to do, and it would cost a lot of money by our side. An authority, a different change, and I don't believe either county was interested in doing it. And if there's any specific questions about partnership agreement, I'd be happy.
Just want to comment on this really quick if I can. I appreciate your work, Attorney Skeen, Manager Crocomo, Ms. McDermott, for your work on this and on the airport board, as you I think have done a great job. And I know that previously the prior iteration of council and councils before that had taken some issue with it because of the interactions that we had between the airport and especially with Lackawanna County. They clearly were not receptive to a lot of the things that we needed, we wanted, especially as it related to the LEO contract. And I think that we held that as a very important piece of getting this new agreement put together. But that being said, I just wanted to note that, there has been a leadership change in Lackawanna County. And with that being the case, there's clearly a bipartisan team that are now working together. And I know that members of Luzerne County government have spoken to them, and they're willing to work with us, in the future on the airport, take a more active role, a more fair and equal role, I'll say, especially as it relates to the financials. So I appreciate that very much, and just wanted to say great job on the work you've done.
Ms. McDermott, would you like to add anything?
Well, just that Mr. Skeen and Mr. Frederickson from the Lackawanna County commissioners, both of them worked very hard on this agreement. It's been many, many months going back and forth, and finally we got Lackawanna County and Luzerne County to be able to agree to it, which is wonderful because now we can apply for our grants that the airport needs to survive.
Anyone else?
I just have one, Mr. Chair, if I could.
Yep, Mr. Ross.
Mr. Skeen, what exactly will this airport be called? Are we going to maintain the same name? I'm looking here in section 301 general. It says the 2.01, the AVP by county partnership. What's the airport called?
The airport
that-
name will remain the same.
Will remain the same. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, moving on. Number 4, discussion regarding an ordinance establishing protections for election workers from harassment, intimidation, and retaliation.
What about number 3,
What did I?
the infrastructure,
Yeah, sorry about that. Discussion regarding an ordinance amending Article 6 of the Administrative Code in accordance with the Home Rule Charter of Luzerne County, creating the Division of Infrastructure, Community, and Economic Development.
I'd like to jump in and begin with this discussion. When we started having conversation about how we are going to be intentional about bringing in new economic development into the county, we were excited. But there were a lot of comments made today that I absolutely agree with. I'm in full support of this division. However, I want to see an organizational chart. I want to see how this is going to be laid out. I want to see how accountability or responsibility is going to be divvied up and the actual functionality of a functioning division, which I don't believe that we have at. So while this is fabulous, I think there's a lot more work that we're going to have to do. There's a lot of things that we are going to have to construct to see what the functionality of this division really looks like in tandem with how the county is currently functioning. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. There's more than that to discuss here, but that's where I would like to start.
Councilman,
Mr. Ross?
I have no problem. I will get an organizational chart to county council within a week.
Thank you, County Manager Kokomo.
Councilman Haas?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I didn't expect this to be past the budget, to be honest with you. It passed by the slimmest of margins. It was a 6-5 vote. And I just don't think it was quite portrayed as what we see here on paper. And I saw some value, just like Ms. Stevenson said, Michael, there's some value in it, of course, but I think there's also an awful lot of drawbacks because especially the new council members, even if you look over the documents here, the proposals, if you look on page 18 of your agenda packet there, we got the original ordinance there. But we're just talking about a restructuring of a lot of departments and department heads under a different division head. And if you look even about, let's see here, I think division head, section B, subsection B. So the Division of Infrastructure, Community and Economic Development should be headed by the division head, should be appointed by the county manager, subject to confirmation. No, that's not what I'm looking at. I guess it's the one above there. Section A. The division will oversee planning and zoning and GIS and grant writing, community development, tourist promotion, any other. There's a lot of chunks there. And this goes to Councilwoman Stevenson was just saying about organizational part. These things are already being done. I don't think many people here, even seasoned council members, I don't think people even know what divisions these components are in right now. And so we're just going to take this and we're going to change it. This should have really been packaged last year going into the budget. It was a very small snippet. It was a very small summary of what this was. Everybody likes economic development. I mean, it's a wonderful idea, but the devil's in the details. And now we're being reactive again. And I really want to see, we as council members, we're the elected people to represent the people. And I always say council should be driving the bus. I mean, I love Millis, you're doing a great job. Okay, and I love the partnership. However, we are the ones responsible to the people. I guarantee you the majority of people out there don't want this. They don't want expanding government. They don't want to see another division head, which we know tends to be a political position. I could tell you right now, I probably got 2 or 3 names that are probably big contenders for this. I could probably tell you where they're going to come from. I could tell you that. Past is precedent. Okay. Secondly here, all these different functionalities here, if we don't know where we're currently at, how can we just take $200,000 in the short term in the form of a brand new division head, but we see this is going to have to expand. All this is going to expand. This is going to grow government and it's going to cost more in tax revenue. Going back to driving the bus, another principal concern I have is that right now, we 11 members drive economic policy in this county. We're responsible for this. And I think something like this takes, again, in a small way, it takes away our council's, our authority in such matters. And you know me, I'm kind of, I guess, rabidly against alertas at this point. I've supported some, but I don't see whoever fills this position, anybody have remotely sharing my view. I think we're going to see these alertas are going to be a done deal going forward, because that's what economic development is. They're looking at the bottom line. They're not looking at the aspects of our community, which we've had a real struggle this past year. I think we've substituted the bottom line for a lot of better planning for our community. And I think that's what happens when we don't get to be involved as people that are communicating with the people on the ground who this really affects. I think Controller Griffith actually brought up some very good points. Cost analysis, that was never done. This is done in the real world. We don't know how much this is going to cost. I know it's going to cost more because you're expanding the government here. It's going to cost more. And now we have different people like the Visitors Bureau and the Convention Center. They're doing a fantastic job here. But now you've got another chef in the kitchen. So I think there's going to be a little bit of turf battles here. I'm just, again, I'm looking at human nature. I'm looking at how these things roll out. I just have a lot of question marks. And the appropriate way to do this would have been last October. But a very slim council majority just signed on to it. And I just don't understand. I think to really have consensus, I don't think we're going to have consensus, but to really show, I think management really has to explain where a lot of this is coming from. But even when that comes to light, there's still going to be a lot of ambiguity here. And I just want the newcomers, especially when I started on this several years ago, many years ago at this point, I just really had wonderful intentions. I really thought everybody just wanted a good government. And I've come to realize very few people want that. There's always an agenda. There's always an agenda out there. So I think be purposefully skeptical of something like this coming to pass. I think that's all I have there. So things to think on, and looking forward to more discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Haas.
Mr. Chair. Oh.
Councilman Haas, you love me because I love Robert Frost. You're a Robert Frost fan too. I gave it a justification when I asked that it be put in the budget. I thought I was being, we had an election, it transformed the makeup of our council. I could have asked the council to pass ordinance to change the administrative code. I wanted to wait till the new council got seated. There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of financial reasons. I'll go through them more meticulously. I'll give you an analysis in writing. I have no problem doing that. But we are at a crossroads in Luzerne County, and we're in a situation where there's a lot of change that is happening. Some of the change is good, some of the change is bad, but we really have to get a handle on this, and we have to put all of our efforts in it. And the divisions, this division, the departments that are going into that division are connected. They're all connected to bring Luzerne County forward. We have to be vigilant of the economic development that comes into Luzerne County. And it's not a rubber stamp for LERTAs. This position will do more of a comprehensive analysis on what relationships and what agreements that we will have with developers. The hope is that this division will lead a team of individuals from the administration and from county council to recruit the right development for Luzerne County. And development in one area of Luzerne County may not be the same as development, a positive development in another area of Luzerne County. And we have to have it centralized if we want to do it right. And I have to say that I look at the model of the city of Pittston and what Mayor Lombardo has done. And I heard him speak at a function, and he said when they first started the Renaissance in Pittston, they were redoing buildings, and then they realized that they had to do blocks at a time. And we have to take that same vision. He has an extraordinary model, and the model for this division is really I'm going to plagiarize and steal the model from the city of Pittston. And I think everybody at that table for council and everybody in that room will agree to me that Pittston is a star. It is a gem. It's the gem of Luzerne County. And that's because of a coherent plan of economic development. So I will give you a specific analysis. I welcome that challenge. So whatever information you want, I will give it. And I hope that we don't keep Luzerne County in the dark ages. We have to open the curtains and let the sunlight into Luzerne County. And that's exactly what this division is going to do.
Thank you, Manager Kokomo. Mr. Bellis, you have your hand up. And then Ms. McDermott and Ms. Williams, and then Ms. Smith. Go ahead.
Thank you,
Ms.
Chairman
Bellis.
Lombardo.
Mr. Bellis.
I'm sorry, Chairman Sabatino. Geez. So it's the NyQuil. So my I just wanted to comment and say thank you for offering an analysis. I'm a numbers person, and I know that me and the county manager, Kokomo, did have a pretty decent conversation regarding numbers. It was a sort of a 30,000-foot analysis, and I liked what I heard. And so, you know, if we can get a more in-depth one, I think that would only go further to just to show people that this is a legit idea, you know.
I will, absolutely. We had a very good conversation, very productive.
Thank you, Mr. Bellis. Ms. McDermott?
Of course, all of us do want great economic growth here in Luzerne County. I was against this because of raising the taxes. We already gave a tax increase to the citizens here, the residents, and that's what I'm against. So even if we have the money there now, you know, you put something in place, it's hard for government to take it away and say, I'm not gonna increase your taxes anymore. So if more money goes to this division to pay for it down the road, again, we'll see when you come up with your analysis how that's gonna go. I think maybe it would be better to put it into a strategic plan rather than rushing it. Let's put it in our strategic plan. And 4 more years, we will be out of debt. Can we work it into a strategic plan? You know, start putting it all together, do it properly, get out of debt, and then, you know, we'll be good. How many of our departments, like if you say very busy and someone has to handle these situations and these different tasks and responsibilities, but we have so many employees already in the county that aren't getting paid enough. They're working overtime, and our departments are short, sheriffs and the DA's office. So to me, before we can increase government and develop a new division, I would rather focus on that. And again, strategic plan, 4 more years. You know, we're almost there. We're almost there.
Well, I'm glad that you brought Councilwoman McDermott. Actually, probably at the next council meeting or the one after that, the Pennsylvania Economy League will be doing a presentation. We were awarded a stamp grant, and the Pennsylvania Economy League. One of the first part of it was done by the Pennsylvania Economy League to do a strategic plan, and we will have one in the second phase. Part of our discussions was about economic development and was about centralizing the county effort towards infrastructure. And I'm not talking about road and bridge, but how our infrastructure relates to economic development. And so I've had discussions with individuals from the Pennsylvania Economy League, and this is one of the fruits of those discussions. But they will offer you more insight when they do their presentation.
Thank you, County Manager. Ms. Williams?
Yes, I am a big proponent of this. I think this, I commend County Manager Crocomo vision. This is very proactive for the county and visionary. I'm a big believer in economic development, good quality economic development. And we get division reports every month. We'll be able to follow how this division is going. Marrying these different departments together makes sense to me when I look at them, because they all seem to be connected. And so putting them all under the same roof with someone who is going to take the lead, and I'm sure County Manager Crocomo will be very involved as well in pointing this in the right direction. My only concern would be for it to lose the division head or the division to lose its way, to always continue to be moving with the mission and the vision that it was created for. I say look forward 5, 10, 15 years, and I think this division does it. It is going to do it, and I look forward to seeing the fruits of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Joanna, sorry.
We're talking about an entire division here, and one of the things that we keep talking about is the division head salary, which I would note is already posted online in our HR department, if anyone has taken a look. But we haven't really discussed the rest of the cost. The rest of the staff, the deputies, the administration, we'll have to spread out our sheriffs more. We'll have to spread out our resources more. And we just raised taxes, which I did not vote for, but we did. And I'm having trouble knowing that we will be out of debt in 4 years. I'm having trouble squaring that fact with having to do this now. County Manager Crocomo, I'm just curious why you're arguing that we are handicapped now. You haven't argued that before. This idea of this new department, this new division came to us. Why are you now arguing that we're keeping Luzerne County in the dark ages now? Why is this a problem right now?
Because all of a sudden, data centers, all of a sudden we have to deal with the consequences of those data centers. And there's something that's going to follow data centers. And we need to have a congealed response, and we have to look forward. We sit back, we sit on our hands, the developers come, and they dictate what's coming here. We have to be more proactive and dictate what's coming here. And we explained the necessity of this minimal tax increase. And you'll be receiving an email from me. You're going to be meeting with our financial advisor. I'll be sending you the report from Standard & Poor's. We have to maintain a certain level of revenue if we want to maintain our credit rating. It's an A, but we could get a AAA. And I can tell you, Mary Roselle and I are not satisfied with just an A. We don't want the 4.0. We want the 4.3. That's what we want. And each step that we take is for that. I'm not going to be around. I am not going to be the county manager when the fruits of that labor come to fruition. But I'll be a resident of Luzerne County, and I will enjoy those fruits. And my nephew will be a resident of Luzerne County, and I want him to enjoy the fruits of our labors now. We have to start now. Time's ticking. We're not just competing with surrounding counties. We're not just competing with other states. It's an international world. We have to make sure that what comes to Luzerne County is what is right.
Are you finished?
Yes.
Okay. You said data centers are coming, and we know that. And then you said something's going to follow data centers.
Said they're here. Your question.
What is that?
Now. That's part of the reason. We're having these every single day about data centers, about utilities. That's why I'm doing it now and not sitting on my hands.
Well, we knew about the data centers well before October, and as a Councilman Haas mentioned, if we really wanted to do this and make this a smooth transition and really think this through, this could have been introduced to us well before when it was. I just don't understand why the rush now when the data centers have been something that we have been grappling with for months and months, well before October. We knew about this. But you did say that something's going to follow data centers, but you didn't say what.
I don't know what. But something will. We got the warehouses, and after the warehouses with data centers, there's going to be something that follows the data centers. And we have to be prepared for that. I would be remiss if I don't try to prepare the county for what's coming. It's part of my job.
And I appreciate that. And our job is to make sure that we protect the monetary end of this county and we protect the taxpayers' dollars. I'm certainly not against progress in any way, shape, or form. And I think this department is a very good idea, but we are out of debt in 4 years. And I would submit to truly make a department run smoothly, it would take at least a year. It would take quite a bit of time to really make that organizational chart that Councilwoman Stevenson brought up, to really put all of these ideas together and make sure that they, in your word, congeal with each other. It just seems like this is very, very rushed. And I don't want to be rushed. I do want to be intentional. I would love to see Luzerne County move forward, but I do want to do it intentionally. And I want to make sure that we balance those interests with the interests of the taxpayers and how much of a burden we put on them. And I also want to make sure that we balance it with the resources that we have. It is no secret that we are having trouble keeping sheriffs. It is no secret that we are having trouble keeping public defenders or ADAs or many people, clerks in the Prothonotari's office. We have to balance all of these things at the same time. And that includes progress, yes. But I just see the difference in how quickly and rushed this seemed when we weren't talking about it at all a few months ago. And considering that we are going to be out of debt in 4 years, in 3 years, the debt that we have and the debt payment will drop, I think in a very large amount. And considering that fact, balancing it with the fact that putting a department together like this will take and should take a significant amount of time, and balancing it with our duty to the taxpayers, I just don't know that right now is the best time to be doing this.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Ms. Stevenson?
I really appreciate the dialogue that's happening here and the fact that it's happening. If we're not bringing these to our work session agendas, then we're not having these conversations in detail to begin with. So that is very important, right? And we're having these conversations so we can continue and figure out where the gaps are. So we are putting ourselves in the best position to serve Luzerne County residents. County Manager Procomo, you make a very valid point, right? We need to be engaging in intersectionality across our departments to ensure that this is something that will thrive. But also, haste makes waste. We cannot speed through the process and say, great, we're gonna go through this elaborate situation and we're just gonna execute, right? We need to patch the holes and fill the gaps. And that is why we're having this conversation today, to figure out where the spaces are, to figure out what we can fix, what we can implement, who we can access. Now, I think Councilwoman McDermott makes a valid point, right? We are out of debt in 4 years. There's a lot to navigate in the process, and there's a lot that this county wants to do, right? But instead of going 0 to 100, right, what can we do to mitigate, right? We need to be providing constructive suggestions here. We are in a very pivotal time for Luzerne County to have economic development coming here, right? We are all aware of that intentionality, right? But what fills in the space between 0 and 100, right? Maybe we find other consultants or other individuals that focus in economic development to support County Manager Kokomo. Maybe there are other people we bring in to continue some of these conversations that help with this development of a division, right? These are suggestions that should be coming across the board. You should be challenging and accepting them or denying them, right? That is a part of the process. Contributing that way is extremely important. So please keep that in mind as we're navigating this conversation respectfully. Thank you.
This course is good.
Yeah. I could say, if I could chime in too, Mr. Chair, just looking at what's written here, everybody, going back to page 18, the responsibilities of the division. I just want to cue in here that all these 9 things are already being done. Number 1, enhancing intergovernmental cooperation between the Commonwealth, Luzerne County municipalities, related entities therein. We just saw the regionalization with Edwardsville and Larksville Police Department. All right. We didn't have to send an emissary there. That was done. Large help with Chief Kofe, we just honored here tonight, as well as Representative Kevich. There's other pieces here, and that's what's unique in many cases about Pennsylvania government. We have different tiers of government. We have townships and boroughs and cities and counties, and there's a lot of layers, and we don't have to own it all. And I don't terribly think that the local elected people necessarily want us to be commandeering all those resources and making things happen. We saw with the Salem Township, those supervisors working with Governor Shapiro's office. Hats off to the Amazon plant there. It's going to be a very positive thing. I hope it continues to go well, and I hope they continue to help us out with community partnerships. But nonetheless, these things are already happening. Number 2, focus strategy, enhance quality of life for residents. We have Act 13. We have this council who is very much attuned to that. Assist project that enhance regionalizations of services. We just had the multimodal center bill. Some of us attended that a couple of years ago. These things are happening, and it's not just that we're living in a vacuum, that nothing's going on. And I just think it seems like very duplicitous. And I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but if we continue on here as well, number 8, skipping down to tourist promotion efforts. Alan Stout, a lot of you guys know him personally. You've seen a lot of events they're having. They're crushing it. They're doing a great job. So keep this in mind. More government is necessarily better government, not necessarily build efficiency. I was hoping with home rule we would see more economies of scale, and that we would see savings and we see efficiencies being built. But things like this, they just tend to keep on growing. It's not building efficiency, it's adding. Thanks. I think I'm done with that. Appreciate it.
Anyone else for comment on this item? Seeing none. Number 4, discussion regarding an ordinance establishing protections for election workers from harassment, intimidation, and retaliation.
Mr. Chairman, if I could. I have a couple comments on this, just as I did first time it was introduced in the previous council. I think that, and I agree with much of what's been said by the public, by Mr. Herring, by Ms. Fasaro, and by some others. This legislation is duplicative. We don't have the right to tell these entities what to do. I look at the definitions and, I didn't even think about this the last time we discussed this, but I had an incident in a polling place in 2021. I'll never forget this. It was the primary. It was first time I was on the ballot. I was very excited to go in and vote for myself for county council. And I walk into my polling place, and it was the time when the Democratic heading was on the Republican primary ballot. So it was one of those issues, and there was a little bit of frustration throughout the day. I walked into my polling place to vote, and there was someone in there who was having an issue with their ability to vote. There was something with their registration that was messed up, and I walked in at the tail end of the conversation. I ended up talking to the voter later on, but I walk in at the tail end of the conversation, and I hear the poll worker loudly exclaiming, "You can just vote provisionally. Your vote will count. Your vote will count." And I walked in and I caught the tail end, and I said, "That's not necessarily true. A provisional vote may not count. Certain things have to be done in order for that type of vote to be counted." And the poll worker got really upset with me and said, "You're not involved in this. Don't you speak?" And I said, "What? I am involved in this. I'm here. I'm listening. I'm trying to give you the correct information, and you're not." So I look at words like persistent in the definition of harassment. So would persistence be my effort to correct a poll worker who was incorrectly giving an information? In the definition of intimidation, would my efforts that day influence an election by means of fear? Would I be charged with something under this? Or retaliation, any adverse action? What is adverse? What does that mean? It's very ambiguous, and it's something that I just am not comfortable with, especially because we already have these laws in place. I know Mr. Thomas during public comment mentioned that there's no protections for non-federal elections. I'll be honest, I don't know that that's true. But I certainly appreciate Mr. Cannon's email that he sent us with his public comment. But I think the more interesting part of that email is the part that he told us not to read in public. And for the edification of the public, because all of our emails are subject to right to know request, I am going to read it. Mr. Cannon said in the second part, this is not to be read in public. And it includes the same account that he talked about in his public comment, but he was a little bit more specific about the individuals involved. And I think that they deserve to know that they were accused of harassing poll workers, and they should be able to take the.
I just want to know from the Office of Law if that's okay for him to read that if the citizen asks for it not to be read.
The emails that get sent to council by the public are open to right to know.
But this isn't a right to know right now, is it?
I think the public has a right to know.
Well, this is not an official no request.
So is it okay to read it if he wrote that he doesn't want it read? Without it being, like, somebody could write to know it, like you're saying, but that doesn't mean gives him the right to read it, does it?
All of the emails are public property. Or it's not
Right,
necessarily a right to know request. Obviously, council members send emails constantly to the media. They send emails to each other, to other people. And there's nothing that is necessarily can be done about that.
Right. I know you could write to know it. Anybody out there could write to know it and they could get it and read it, but that's a separate thing. Is he allowed to read it?
I would have to look into that.
He was directed, we were directed. I didn't see this part, but I don't recall it. Maybe I missed it in the email. But I mean, personally, if I read that, not to read that, I would not read it as a council member. And I just think that that's something maybe the Office of the Law would determine.
For Mr. Cannon to put this into writing in a situation where he knows that this can and will be accessed by the public, I don't see any reason why there's an issue with reading this in the public.
I think it could be right to know, sure, but he asked for it not to be read.
Well, if I am not allowed to read this evening, I can tell you I will release it to the media. It will be done.
Point over, Mr. Chairman. Back in the early days of home rule, they would publish all our emails. They're public knowledge. It's public record.
And they really should continue to do
I
that.
I agree. We should publish our emails, but I'm going to defer to the Office of Law on this.
I would have to look into this, so I'm not going to just answer it at the last second right now.
Well, my intention is to have this email put into the record of county council, and I would like to read it. So I'm going to do that. Mr. Cannon wrote, "This is not to be read in public."
Councilman Lombardo, I understand where you're coming from, and I understand that all of our emails are subject to public. I'm just not sure what you're accomplishing.
Mr. Cannon is making a false accusation against an elected official, against a citizen, and against a poll worker. All right, in order to get a means to an end, in order to get this legislation passed. And every single council member needs to be apprised of that. I investigated this. I intend to discuss that and why it is not accurate and why it is actually completely false. So please, I would like the opportunity to read this. If Mr. Cannon didn't want it read in public, then he shouldn't have published it.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just not sure that it will be productive.
Well,
at
I
this
understand. I understand what the
Because
vote's going to be
we're
in 2
not-
weeks.
we're
So
not
if that's
Mr.
what you're getting
Cannon.
at, I understand that. I understand where we're going in 2 weeks when this gets passed.
Well, no, we're not Mr. Cannon, and I don't think that any of us were on the email, so I'm just.
Yes, you
I'm
were.
Not sure.
Yes, you
Okay.
were. It was to Luzerne County council members. Every single person here had a copy of it.
No,
And-
that's not what I meant. I meant, we're not the people being accused.
Okay.
So I just wanted to say that I don't know how
I'm,
productive it is at this moment, but
I'm
It
going to
is
defer to
public
Mr.
property. Go
Lombardo
for
to
it.
read this email.
Thank you. Mr. Cannon wrote underneath his public comment that was read into the record this evening. This is not to be read in public. I sent this statement to the Luzerne County Bureau of Elections attorney last year to be on record, so it is on record elsewhere. This has more details of the situation. I would like this statement to be put into the Election Bureau's records. During the election of November 8th, 2022, a judge had ordered polling places to stay open an extra 2 hours until 10 p.m. So anyone inconvenienced by the paper shortage could still manage to make arrangements to vote. I was working the election at Plymouth Ward 3. Full disclosure, I do not know in what capacity he was working. In the National Guard building on Main Street in Plymouth. At exactly 10 p.m., I closed the electronic polls and the scanner unit. At 10:02 p.m., Benny Herring from Duryea walked in with who I believe to be Jordan Mangan, a registered Republican from Plymouth Ward 3. Herring announced that his friend wanted to vote. I told Herring the polls were closed and it wasn't possible. Herring argued they were in line before 10 p.m., but we could see the area where the line would be, and there wasn't anyone there, and there were no voters in the building. Then Herring asked for our names and threatened to sue us. There were 5 witnesses, one who since passed, if we didn't open the machines and let them vote, and let the man vote. Looking back, Herring was threatening us with a lawsuit in an attempt to get us to commit election fraud. It didn't occur to me at the time, but I should have called the police, considering we didn't have a constable on duty like we had in the past. After a few tense minutes, Herring and his friend left. Weeks later, I spoke with our ward's judge of elections, Raya Becom, who told me she cornered State Representative Alec Rinkavage, and he confessed to sending Benny Herring to our ward in an attempt to trip us up. Rinkavage lived just a few blocks away. Rinkavage's involvement is secondhand information, but Raya can corroborate. But the rest is my firsthand account of this incident. After I read this, I immediately forwarded to Representative Rinkavage because these are extremely serious allegations. I forwarded it to Mr. Herring as well, because again, serious allegations, all subject to public right to know. Mr. Rinkavage, of course, denied it. Mr. Herring said he has never even been in Plymouth, PA, let alone been there that day. So, and on top of all of that, Mr. Rinkavage contacted Ms. Becom and spoke to her, and she actually became very angry after hearing what was being alleged. She then spoke to me. She called me, and she was very upset with Mr. Cannon, and she said to me that she does not feel comfortable working the polls with Mr. Cannon because of his hyper-political attitude and because of this accusation. I then reached out to our elections bureau. I made them aware of the situation. I made them aware of this email and what I did, who I spoke to, and our elections director stated that because of this and about 1,000 other incidents with Mr. Cannon, he will no longer be allowed to work the polls for Luzerne County. I think that if this legislation does pass, Mr. Cannon should be the first one charged with interference in an election. Mr. Thomas mentioned a grifter and he mentioned Republicans. I'm not in the business of calling out people, especially in this body as an elected official, but Mr. Cannon has done that so many times, and it is so inappropriate. To see that was disturbing. To accuse a sitting state representative of those accusations to accuse members of the public, a former military veteran, and someone that's a poll worker of something like that is just horrible. And not one person questioned it. Not one person questioned it. I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that I got the truth. And that's what's being used in order to get this passed. It's ridiculous. This legislation was already struck down one time by a previous council. We debated it. We went through every single line by line by line. There were hundreds of people that spoke. And it just is, it's not something that is going to be productive for the citizens of Luzerne County. It's going to have a chilling effect on free speech. Voters will be intimidated. This is the opposite. It's not poll worker intimidation. It'll be voter intimidation when we pass this. Voter intimidation. And it's disappointing. Thank you.
Anyone else for discussion on this?
Yes, Chair.
Kozlik?
In looking at this, I think this is extremely redundant. We have 184 or 86 polling places in Luzerne County. We cannot put a sheriff at every one of these to decipher what is harassment, what is not harassment. That is, as far as I'm concerned, that's a law enforcement agency's job. That is a police department's job. That is the DA's office job, to be there and to, to move these charges forward on somebody. Who's to say what's harassment? Who's to say what's intimidation? So, whereas I do think we need to protect our poll workers very much so. They do a service for all of us at this table and our elected officials. But you're also going to get a faster result dialing 911 for a police department than you are waiting to call the election board, then to have the sheriffs come out, or a county detective, or somebody of that nature. You're going to be waiting a lot longer than 911, and they're going to get the same charges by a police department, which are going to happen quicker. And who is to say that we can enforce $1,000 fine? We may walk into court and they're going to say, no, that's not what this, you're going to go to a magistrate's court and they're going to say, here's your punishment for harassment. There's nothing that states they have to give them $1,000 fine each time. That to me is, it's almost unfounded. So, whereas I understand protecting our election workers, very much so. I think they should be protected. They are in a vulnerable position for 12 hours on election day. They deal with people who come in that are thrilled for their right to vote. They come in angry at the world because they had to stop the vote. So yes, they do need to be protected, but I feel that they're better protected under the current law enforcement in Luzerne County, which in my opinion is second to none in the Commonwealth. So I believe this is a redundant action and we should just move on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kozlik. Ms. Stevenson, Mr. Bellis, and then Ms. Smith.
Thank you. I agree with Councilman Kozlik. Going through this ordinance again in this new year, going through all this material and having conversations with different communities that would be participating or actively going out to vote in general, a lot of interesting details came up. A lot of interesting opinions and scenarios came up. And one really struck me, right? Which was, imagine I am a young Black male entering a polling place and I'm falsely accused of harassment or interfering with an election. And now I'm charged, or I am now being subjected to some form of discrimination, or now I'm being arrested and now charged a fine because I simply went in and didn't understand or went to ask a question or was in that polling place to generally vote, right? That is not that's not a situation that I want to see come to light, right? We work very hard in our individual lives, in our personal lives, and our professional lives to, one, make sure people can vote, people are educated, people are able to participate in these kinds of cases. I don't feel like this election protection ordinance offers those voters that level of freedom and that level of security to do so. And in thinking about that specific scenario, this is not something that I'm seeking to support based on the holes and the definitions and rhetoric that's used that we cannot clearly define. Also, Alyssa Facero stated a very clear fact that the state sets their minimums and their maximums for the cost and the fees that come along with these types of situations. We cannot impose $1,000 on residents of Luzerne County. From my understanding, that is it's unorthodox. That's not something that we can engage in. So that is my stance for the public and on the record. That is generally how I feel about it. And I'm leaving that out there on the table. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Mr. Bellis?
So just to be clear, there is no, the statutes that exist to protect poll workers or election workers, they exist to do so if there is a federal election happening. So the election that we just had, there were no federal candidates, right? No one was running for Congress, etc. So no protections specific to poll workers. Now you do have regular harassment, regular whatever, right? The thing is that this specifically defines protection specific to poll workers, and it does not state that only the county sheriffs can go out to enforce it. It just says that while you're in Luzerne County, if you try to prevent a poll worker from doing their job, if you intimidate a poll worker by, I don't know, getting in front of them and screaming or telling them that they're, these would have to be pretty egregious acts. And I do take a little bit of umbrage against some of the rhetoric of, well, it's not too defined. Well, you know what? A lot of things aren't defined. If you go through a lot of statutes, they're not defined. That's why there is a bar for charging, and it would be up to whichever officer was there to take the report. And we have a social trust of law enforcement in this country or in this county to make those decisions correctly. Otherwise, why have any laws at all? So if we want to be law and order, then let's be law and order. But any police officer can come in. All it does is define this as a specific issue to protect election workers. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Bellis. Ms. Smith?
All right, so I'm happy to have this discussion. I think that this is always an important discussion to have, and I think we always learn from each other and learn from each other's points. There are a few issues, though. First of all, a lot of people are arguing what is called a logical fallacy. They're in constructing arguments, there are things called logical fallacies. Begging the question is one of them. We are arguing a slippery slope. That's all I keep hearing all evening. And the definition of a slippery slope in terms of a logical fallacy is the idea that a relatively small first step will inevitably lead to a chain reaction of increasingly dire and absurd consequences without sufficient evidence that each step will actually occur, making the final extreme step seem unavoidable. So Councilwoman Stevenson's example of a young Black man going into a polling place to ask a question is an absolutely absurd example of the use of this particular ordinance. This is very, very clearly defined, frankly, and Councilman Kozlet asked, well, who is to define what harassment is? I will tell you who is to define what harassment is. Title 18, PA Section 2709 is exactly what defines harassment. Councilman Lombardo asked, well, what is persistent conduct? I will tell you, it is a course of conduct as defined under Title 18, 2709. These definitions exist, and they are in line with what our crimes code says. People are taking umbrage with the $1,000 fine, and there will be amendments needing to be made to this. For example, the word "shall" needs to be taken out, and it needs to be changed to maybe subject to a sentence of incarceration of up to 90 days, or subject to a fine of up to $1,000. We get to the $1,000 if it's a repetitive offense. People have mentioned 300. Yes, that is for the first offense in the summary. That is the maximum of a summary for a first offense in Pennsylvania. But who decides what harassment is? Who decides what any of this is? The legislation decides it, the courts decide it, and frankly, the law enforcement officers decide it. That is why we cannot have sheriffs stationed at each poll place. You're exactly correct. But more often than not, and I believe that quite a few council members on this council should know this, more often than not, it is up to the law enforcement officer who attends the scene to decide whether or not they're going to charge. I, in my career, have seen many times where I have felt that things should have been charged. And I have seen in my career many times where things should absolutely not have been charged. And who made that decision? It was the law enforcement officer. And then the ADA chooses to run with it or not. There are many levels that it would have to get past for someone to actually be up for this. But what is more important is there are actually not laws, and this has been brought up before, I will repeat it quickly. There are not laws that protect election workers at all times. There are only federal laws, and they only kick in when there is a federal candidate on the ballot. That is absolutely true. That is a legal fact. Secondly, there is not one single law that protects doxing, and we have had doxing happen in our own county. Some of us have had it happen to friends, and we need to be able to protect our election workers from doxing, from having their personal information put up online in order to intimidate them. We need to rely on our law enforcement officers to help decide what all of this is. And if you would like me to define every single term, I certainly can try that for you. But in every single piece of legislation, if we go back to any ordinance that we've ever written, I guarantee you we can find a sentence that will go, I'm not sure what that means. But that's exactly the point of the courts. Let's go back to sixth grade physics. I'm sorry. Let's go back to sixth grade civics. Say that 5 times fast. Mr. Haas, you should know this. What's the role of the legislature, Mr. Haas?
Make the laws, but they don't do that.
What's the role of the judiciary, Mr. Haas?
Interpret the laws, but they have their own interpretations.
Exactly. Almost. The legislature is here to write the laws. That's our job. The role of the judiciary is to interpret it. If we're going to argue over having exactly defined words in every single ordinance, we're never going to get anything done. We need to do the best that we can with what we have. This ordinance has been worked on. It will need a few amendments, but with those amendments, it will be legally sound. It is rather legally sound now. I am going to implore all of you to please stop listening to the fear mongering, especially the logical fallacies with the slippery slope arguments. This is something that we need to do to protect our election workers. And the best that we can do is protect the people who go out of their way, who take time out of their life to do something that they don't need to do, to run elections that without them, our democracy would crumble. That is all I am asking this council to do. And while it needs to be amended, sure, that's what we have these discussions for. But I am asking you to truly think about the poor arguments that are made against this. Look into logical fallacies if you would like, and really think about protecting the people who we have seen things like this happen to, and the fact that we do not have any laws that protect our election workers when there are no federal candidates on the ballot, and we have not one single law protecting any of them from doxing and having their personal information released. That would terrify many people. They take time out of their lives to do something for us and to work for their country and to work for their municipal governments and to do something they don't have to do. I want to make sure that they feel comfortable and protected. Thank you.
Mr. Haas? Sorry, Ms. Fasari. Mr. Haas or Ms. Williams? Go, you can go first.
Well, all of you know that elections, poll workers, protecting election officials is really high on my list. And, but I do feel that this is very, duplicates with a lot of what is in this, what is already in place. And in working, volunteering and being the chair of the election board, I was very well aware of when election issues came up, any concerns. I sat in on many trainings, and the poll workers were always talked to about this. If something comes up, what do? You call the election bureau and you let them know immediately what's going on if you have a question. And that was always said. Then if it needed to be taken further, it could be to the DA. And that was always, anything we felt was out of line, abnormal, a concern, an irregularity with elections, the board was directed, it's in the election code, to refer it to the district attorney. The bureau often did that as well. I have some concerns also that, like I said, I just think this is already in place, that the DA is the authority for election matters. But I just think that some of this may preempt state law, Title 18, in what the role of the DA is, in that, but that this is authorizing the DA to do something also concerns me, that wording. Even in the election code, the board refers the matters to the district attorney, not authorizes. And again, the other thing is about enforcement of this. I'm concerned about the fine. And it's already stated in state law what all of this is. Are we changing that? And I don't know that, and I don't believe that the county council has the authority to change what's already in place with state law and preempt that. So there's a lot here. You know, when I read about this, the ordinance for, you know, protection of election workers right off the bat, I'm all for that. I really am. But I just think that maybe we're spinning our wheels to do something that's already in place, and in the district attorney's office is where it's at. And that's what we were always advised on the Board of Elections, that they take matters. And, you know, harassment is harassment. They're going to determine that. You're right. Courts will determine that. Intimidation, you bring it to the police. You bring that right to the authorities. And, you know, that's where I'm at. The other thing is saying, you know, this regardless of where the action originated on online conduct. I don't know that we have the jurisdiction as a county council to take care of matters that are outside of the county. But I just think a lot of this, I'm just concerned that it oversteps our legal authority, and that these matters, that ways that these are handled are already in place. Thank you.
Mr. Haas?
Yeah, it's well said. My colleague, Ms. Williams, said, you know, my name's Harry Haas. I have been an election worker many times in the past. Between my service here on council, I served 2 years in Kingston Ward 1. I was a judge of elections there. Prior to that, when I lived in Wilkes-Barre, I was a judge there, and I was also an inspector there for several terms. So I don't know if anybody else has ever served before. It's a long day. My hat's off to anybody who works in elections. It's a long day. It's a 14-hour day at least at minimum, and it tends to go a lot longer than that, especially if we have a snafu with like the missing paper year. So when I look here on page 49 with the election worker, all right, it's anybody, full-time, part-time, anybody in the polls. But harassment, when people feel like the franchise is violated in that section 2 there, they're going to be upset. And in my time, I've had upset people. I didn't feel threatened. I didn't feel harassed. I felt empathy, because you know what? It's not fair. The election should be smooth. People have an expectation they're going to come in, have their vote cast without any malfeasance on the part of those running the elections. So most recently, the last time I served, we opened up the polls, and you know, judge of elections, you're in charge of the entire board. Okay, so the buck stops with you if that's your role. So one of my team members, they started the machine a little too quickly, and we saw that morning they weren't calibrated right. The date was like 2008. So I said, please check this before we open polls. Please go through everything. We're going through, but one was started up. First guy that came in there was irate because he smelled a rat. Because this is what we see. We see time and time again. We've had an issue almost every election in Luzerne County with something that went amiss and nationwide. So as judge of elections, I felt empathy because I'm putting my feet in his shoes, and I'm thinking, that looks really shady. Now it was a clerical error. It was a formatting error with the computer. It should have been done. It wasn't checked for whatever reason what happened. So we called the bureau. We left that machine shut down until we were able to recalibrate the time, and it voted fine. Okay. Most of these errors are avoidable. Most of them are human error, and taken alone, they don't really mean anything, but time and time again, the public does get upset, and we cannot confuse people being upset for harassment. And that's exactly what this is going to do. This is going to cause people that are rightfully angry that they don't get the franchise without any errors. And it's going to cause even bigger problems. So I appreciate what everybody said here. That's just one story. I got dozens of them, but we're all people. We make mistakes sometimes, or the people do. And I'm willing to forgive that. But again, two wrongs don't make a right.
Ms. Smith?
Respectful, I think a lot of you are missing the first word in the definition of harassment, persistent. I've certainly amended to a course of conduct if that's what you would prefer. But it's not just one, I'm upset. It's not just one, I'm disenfranchised. And I would submit that your example is exactly why we need this. Number one, we have seen it happen. We have had it happen to people who've worked in our elections. We had an elections director who there was a mistake made under her, and for years she was hounded by people. She was hounded by the media. I spoke to her, and she basically went into hiding because she was so afraid. But this is even more why we need this. We are having so many issues, and we do seem to have issues every single time. People are more and more quick to argue that they smell a rat. Times are getting more volatile, which I hate. I'm not saying that I like that. I really wish that they weren't getting more and more volatile. The fact is that they are. And because we have had so many issues with our elections, our people are more and more quick to say, I've been disenfranchised. And that can escalate quickly. But please don't overlook the important part of the course of conduct. Not just one issue. It's not coming in to ask a question. It's a course of conduct over and over and over again.
And I'll just conclude, Mr. Chair. I really appreciate my colleague, Ms. Smith. I really do. I think when on election day, the election bureau, election board gives you this little green book. It's about this size. It's like Election Day Matters, it's called, and you read word for word exactly how the process is. And we need to, I think, just train our people, especially the judges of elections, do that really well. That will stave off a lot of conflicts. I think really to resolve a lot of what Ms. Smith is trying to address here, I think if we just front end and be more proactive, a lot of things, I think we get rid of a lot of stuff. And I mean, that's just how I like governing. I think we should be more proactive and not reactive. Just do it right the first time. Be prepared, be professional. And I think a lot of this stuff goes away.
Thank you, Mr. Haas. Anyone else? Okay, moving on. Discussion regarding a resolution certifying county farmland preservation funds for program year 2026. Dan?
I just wanted to note that Google is a great tool, but it doesn't tell you everything, especially in terms of law. There's a reason that people go to law school. So you can't just necessarily rely just on Google.
Thanks, Ms. Smith. Dan, take it away.
Good evening, everyone. In the work session tonight, we just have it's a administrative thing we have to do every year to certify the interest that's brought in on clean and green violations the previous year. So in order for the farmland preservation funds to have a match for next year. So this is the 2026 certification that we're bringing for you today, which is 2025's violation interest from last year.
Any council members have questions? Mr. McDermott?
How many violations?
I don't know the total number of violations, but the interest that we have is $41,639 that was brought in on those. So it's gone, it fluctuates every year. Last year's, I think, was 17,000. A couple of years prior, it was 44,000. So, but yeah, it goes towards the match that we put towards the state in order for them to preserve within the county.
Thank you, Mr. Reese. Number 6, discussion regarding a resolution authorizing the execution of an amendment to the master agreement with Central Square Technologies LLC. Ms. Barrett, drives.
This agreement was put into place, and Bill can give you a little bit of background if you're interested, but it is for the law enforcement agencies who have the computers in their car. So instead of having to come to council or to sign each agreement, this agreement would kind of address all of those. Bill, I don't know if I did it's past.
So it's for law enforcement, fire and EMS. It's for the CAD that they have in their apparatus. Basically, when they go to purchase a license, Central Square wants the county to sign off on each license that gets purchased. This was worked on by the Office of Law to just have one agreement that the county signs that says all of these municipalities, agencies can buy a license and they're covered under the county's agreement. No cost from the county. Honestly, it's probably a savings because it's the county not having to go through each agreement and sign it.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Barrett or Mr. Ives?
I don't have a question, just a comment. I use the CAD every single day at work. I love having a mobile data terminal in the fire trucks, in the ambulances. It really helps us. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your hard work in maintaining it. And thank you for getting this agreement to us. It's going to definitely be helpful. I personally really appreciate your hard work because it makes my life a lot easier. And I know that there are so many other departments and people that feel exactly the same.
And thank you to Office of Law for helping us get this agreement.
Thanks, everyone. Moving on, number 7, discussion regarding a resolution expressing concern regarding proposed electric utility rate increases and urging the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission to ensure fair, cost-based utility rate design that protects residential and small business customers from unintended cost shifting by large-scale, high-load users, including data center. Yeah, next time we write this, we're going to put a shorter title in. All right, Ms. Williams.
Sure. Well, I just wanted to read a little bit of a summary of this resolution. We put it together, Chairman Sabatino and myself. This resolution urges the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission to review whether existing electric and water utility rate structures appropriately reflect cost causation and public benefit in light of increased interest in large-scale data center development in Luzerne County. The resolution notes that hyperscale data centers consume extraordinary amounts of electricity and water. They generate limited permanent employment relative to their utility demand and may require significant investment in utility infrastructure. It expresses concern that without appropriate rate design, the costs of such infrastructure expansions could be shifted to residential and small business ratepayers. The resolution does not set utility rates or oppose economic development. Instead, it requests that the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission examine the existing rate classifications and consider regulatory mechanisms that promote rate equity, transparency, and long-term system reliability. And at the end of the resolution, it does go on to say who the resolution will be transmitted to, the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission, the Office of Consumer Advocate, the Office of Small Business Advocate, and the Luzerne County State Legislative Delegation. It's just a resolution, but it is something that could be put on the record for the Pennsylvania Utility Commission and be our voice in trying to address the electric and water rate for the residents and small business. Thank you.
Thank
Like
you,
Ms.
Mr. Chair.
Williams? Mr. Haas?
So, Mr. Chair, Ms. Williams, great work on this. I totally support something like this. If you look back, 2020, I don't know if when you were looking at this, Jimmy, for the, to draft this, but 2024-40, that was a resolution that we passed, was one of the last rate increases that they had. And this one, then and I urge you to take a look at it, because maybe you can adapt or incorporate some of that into here, because this one of the whereases was the county council desires to file a formal complaint with the PUC related to Pennsylvania American Water Company's proposed rate hikes. I like this, but it doesn't have any teeth because we're just encouraging, and we know they're going to say thank you, adios amigos. So if we could actually have the management file some, if we want to be a plaintiff, that's really what the question is. If we want to oppose a drastic rate increase, I think we need to put our money where the mouth is. You know what I mean? Now the consumers can do this, the residents can do this. I don't know the format for commercial. I don't think it was filed. I mean, we asked management to, I don't think it was ever done, and it might have been just a little too late by the time it finally passed. So not to throw stones, but I think it was time was of the essence. But I think Denise, that's coming up soon, that we can actually jump on that to align with what you'd like to do here. So I mean, I would just add an amendment just personally. I would say be it further resolved in the same terminology here. The council desires to file a formal complaint with the PUC related to the company's proposed rate hikes. I guess it's PP&L, right? So I would add that. That's my 2 cents. And I think like anything, we need to really count the cost, see what that really entails. Maybe we can have that if we want to push this on to the next voting meeting. I think time is of the essence. But if we're going to do that, maybe we get management's take on that, do a little cost analysis.
Can you email me that verbiage?
I'll do it right now. Absolutely. Thank you.
Mr. Lombardo?
I don't think I had my hand up, but I'm happy. No, happy to make a comment. I thought I had a comment, but I kind of said whatever. But no, I do appreciate this. This is a good a good resolution. I think it'll go a long way as we've done this type of stuff before. One thing that I'd like to see personally, I'm not going to introduce this just in the spirit of bipartisanship on the resolution. But one thing I'd like to see in the language, and feel free to opine on this, is some of the wounds as far as the cost of electricity and utilities are self-inflicted here in Pennsylvania. A lot of the regulations that we have, particularly like the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, are making things difficult for us to have low energy prices. So I would love to be able to encourage all the entities that are involved to have an above and all of the above type of process for creating energy. And as far as getting new power plants online, whether it be nuclear, whether it be any power plant, I think that the permitting should be streamlined, because there's other states where you can build a power plant in 2 years and you can't even get a permit for one in Pennsylvania. It's pretty sad. Thank you.
All right.
My only question about Councilman Haas's recommendation, the desire to file a formal complaint, is it would be an office of law question. Like, can the council, like you said, residents can do that. Can a council do that? I don't know to work that in. That would be a question for the office of law to pass.
Yeah, we did and we can. And I actually went a few weeks ago to testify as a council member, a residential customer and a commercial customer.
Oh, so you can as a commercial.
Oh yeah, I did it.
Well, I guess we're government though.
Well, they got all three in one. So I think, and that's where some of the facts and figures in this resolution came from my research for that testimony at the hearing at Wilkes University a few weeks before Christmas.
Mr. Chair, I just texted it to you. I didn't want to email in case Mr. Lombardo read my email.
All right. Public comment. Any public comment, Mr. Grantine?
Chairman Sabatino, before we move to public.
Sorry.
Joe Grantine, Plains Township.
Mr. Grantine, could you hold on one moment, please?
Get with it.
Can somebody just turn the gate down maybe in there? That's gotta be it. Like it's the
We're
game.
gonna have to calibrate it.
It's the game.
least everybody
I've
worked.
Worked on a lot of audio stuff as a musician. Anyway, I have two ordinances that I would like to pass out to council that are related. That I would ask that would be on the next agenda. One is an ordinance establishing a countywide non-discrimination requirements for employment, housing, education, healthcare, and public accommodation, and providing for investigation and enforcement of claims of discrimination. Because our charter has a very strict policy of only having one subject for ordinance, this has to be a second ordinance. In this ordinance, in order to investigate it, it would require establishing a human relations advisory council. And so the second ordinance that goes with it is establishing a human relations advisory council. I have copies for everyone if you would like to take one and pass it around. And I would respectfully ask that it be on
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
the next agenda.
Mr. Grantide,
Thank you.
feel free.
I'd like to address the issue with the election worker protection ordinance. On November 4th at 5:30 in the morning, I left my house to go work at a polling place in Plains Township. Along with hundreds of other people, a lot of them older than me, a lot of them younger than me. They all left their house and worked 15-hour days in the election polling places. That was November 4th, approximately 23 days before Thanksgiving. 5 days before Christmas, those people finally got paid. Now, who's going to protect the election workers from the election workers? Right? Because I know a lot of them were upset that it took so long to get those payments. You know, and there was a lot of it was nonchalant from the election bureau, you know, like this is the way it always works. Like they can't do two things at one time. People worked hard that day and they deserve to get paid. And a lot of them are older people who really have to push themselves to do it. And they're not going to want to keep doing it if that's going to be the case. I know this isn't the election bureau or the election board, but I just wanted to say that. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Grantide. Mr. Herring?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank Councilmember Lombardo for his persistence there. Had he not spoken up, I guess some of you don't read your emails, which is another problem, different story. You wouldn't even known that. So you have a gentleman who gives you an email, accuses me of a crime, and it wasn't even going to be read here tonight. That is despicable. The RTK process, just for those who haven't taken the Sunshine Act training yet, which seems like some of you probably need that. It takes 5 days to respond. Attorney Skeen knows this, and you're going to ask for an extension all the time. Everybody always asks for an extension. So that's 35 days. I don't know your voting schedule, but there's probably a good chance this would have been voted on twice before 35 days hit the end. So I think I see the little strategy going on here. Let's send an email, accuse somebody of something wrong, falsely, by the way, but make sure it doesn't see the light of day so that all the council members can take that as gospel and vote on it, because Ben Herring's a bad person and he's harassing people at an election poll. Let me say this, 4 years ago, you couldn't even have talked to me about a lawsuit. I don't care about lawsuits. I like to handle things as human beings, as adults. You speak it out, you talk things out, and you figure out what's going on. Unfortunately, the only way I'm getting any recourse with issues that I have is through litigation. I hate to say it, but people won't admit they're wrong. People won't admit when they do something wrong. So the only thing I can do is go to the courts, the judicial branch, as we talked about earlier in our civics lesson. Well, guess what? Newsflash, now I have to go and file a defamation lawsuit, which is actually already published, and it's going to Mr. Cannon's house. And if it wasn't read here tonight, I was ready to implicate some of you as well on something else. I don't want to have to do this. Why can't we just work together? Why are you utilizing or using or whatever the word is a false accusation against me. I've never been to Plymouth. You know where I was in 22 during Papergate? In the 118th. That's where I live. Why would I drive at 10:02 p.m. down to Plymouth? It is a material lie. There's no truth to that. May I ask, please, the newspapers, if you're going to cover this story, make sure that's in there. This is a material lie. And it's being used as a premise to pass Miss Smith's ordinance. They're using a lie to pass an ordinance because they can't come up with any factual information that says election workers are being harassed. Not one thing, like I said earlier. So what do? Create a lie. Let's create a false story. And you wouldn't even see it through an RTK. That is despicable that you said to do an RTK. Unbelievable. So much for transparency in this new council. Finally, I want to say this. Beth Gilbert McBride was the election worker that was talked about before by Ms. Smith. You know how terrified she was of going out in public after she was fired or resigned as the election director? She joined Action Together NEPA as their election person.
Mr. Herrick.
That's not who I was referring to.
She was everywhere, but she was so afraid to be out.
Mr.
That's not who I was referring to.
Ms. Smith. Ms. Fasara.
Speaking of angry, Alyssa Fusaro, Luzerne Borough, I am very angry because, as he stated, there's lies being passed around here, okay? And you need to understand that right now. You need to understand there's fiction and then there's truth, okay? Title 25, Section 3527. I know Title 25 like the back of my hand. I just don't have all the sections memorized. That's why I asked Mr. Herring to Google the section for me. I knew exactly what it said, but I needed to look it up, okay? And that is interference with election officials. I had a friend, an attorney friend, and he's used to tell me, as an attorney, I know not to deal in absolutes. I would caution you to research the laws before stating that there are none. Also, you can't call the police when you're at a polling location. Many of you don't know that, but the police are not allowed in a polling location. Does anybody know why? There is a state constable that is in the polling location. Does anybody know why? Because elections are a state issue. You cannot interfere with a state issue. I'm telling you right now, you cannot interfere with this. This cannot go through. This is something, and you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, one of the best things you can do, ignore everything I have to say. Just call Pennsylvania State Department of Elections. Ignore everything I have to say. Make one single phone call down to Jonathan Marks at the state in the state election department. He will tell you everything you need to know. You can't pass this. You can't. Okay, it's a state issue. You can't interfere with this. All right, and I'm just telling you, it's not only is it intimidation, but it's out of your realm. You're not supposed to. It's in the Pennsylvania elections are in the Pennsylvania state constitution. You can't touch it, okay? The state gives the authority to the county to run the elections, okay? But as far as the laws are concerned, Title 25 gives you all gives you the rundown. Title 12, and there's more, okay? They're all easily accessible, and you can. It's not that hard to read, okay? It really isn't. Obviously, some people just don't like to skate it and say there are no laws. Well, there are. There are Pennsylvania state laws. It's Title 25 PA state election law. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the audience? Sure, 3 minutes.
It's not running yet, is it? Bob Kalabowski, I'll try to be short. On this Blue Cup situation, 3 years that myself and the people have been fighting it. Before you do anything on any type of extensions, make sure we're able to come down here. I'll bring some people down from the township. to give you all the details on it. There's multiple things that are wrong up there. People don't want it up there, and the county council and should be involved in the situation that's up there, especially when it comes to the money. As you know, the county just raised taxes up, but yet we have a company that's not even from around here who's going to put a building up that nobody wants. And they're getting a 65% tax break where they just raised the taxes up on the people in the township 64%. And don't forget, Luzerne County just raised taxes up on their citizens. So Attorney Skeen brought up that, if I'm right, what I heard you say, we have the right maybe to renegotiate this. Am I correct? We might be able to renegotiate and get more, because one of the business people up there said, we're getting stuck with all these new fees and everything. Why can't we make them pay more? And it should be, because they violated their agreement as far as I'm concerned. They could have had this building built 2 or 3 years ago. They're actually blaming me for holding up a 1 million square foot building. Do I look like I could hold up a 1 million square foot building? But just so you know, please give us a chance to talk before you give them an extension. And also what you're talking about with this election law, you cannot supersede the laws as the Pennsylvania, what Pennsylvania always has in place. And also, just so you know, the city of Wilkes-Barre several years ago did something, some kind of ordinance where you had implied knowledge that somebody was dealing drugs in your place. And I told the nitwit lawyer who was handling it, you're going to get the city sued. Guess what? Got the city sued. I don't know if it's millions of dollars that they paid or hundreds of thousands. And also for the new council, be very careful when you're dealing with the Luzerne County Redevelopment Authority. It's my personal opinion. They're corrupt. They had a board member get off the board. A year later, she's had a property held up in Ashley to build a 1 million square foot warehouse. And she has some kind of relationship with somebody that's on the board. For 5 years, she had it held up, extension after extension, and a business person at a meeting when the representative redevelopment authority was there said, who has deep pockets to take this over? And a businessman, John Halliday, said, I'll do it tomorrow. They have to this day have never called him, and the county needs money, and yet they dilly-dallied because there's some kind of collusion with this the woman who wanted to buy this property in Ashley to put the warehouse up with one of the board members. I think they have some kind of romantic relationship. That's a conflict of interest. Be very careful when you deal with them. As far as I'm concerned, it's a corrupt organization. And I don't know, how do you get put on the redevelopment authority board? Who does that? So I guess my 3 minutes are, I'm almost up.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we appoint members to the redevelopment authority.
Okay.
So you'd have to send in an application to Mr.
Oh, I don't
Lawrence.
want to be on it. No,
Okay.
they'll end up poisoning me. No.
I thought-
You'll find
I
me
thought you
floating
wanted to
down
be
the
on
river.
But whoever you would recommend to be on it would have to send an application in to Ms. Lawrence by noon on not this Friday.
How
so
soon till they're going to appoint somebody
This
on
Friday,
it?
it is this Friday, I'm
We have a
sorry.
meeting scheduled for interviews on January 20th.
How about Walter Griffith?
I think you can't do it because
No.
he's
No.
not eligible because he was
Okay.
a county employee technically.
Okay, thanks for your time. I hated to wait this long, but watch the redevelopment authority and watch what you're doing. You can't supersede the laws of the Commonwealth already.
Thank you, sir. Any comments on? Mr. Rabo? Mr. Rabo? Come in, Mr. Rabo. All right, we'll skip Mr. Rabo for now. We'll go to Mr. Griffith on the iPad. Mr. Rabo, Mr. Griffith, anyone? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you, everyone.